Yo, what's going on, y'all?
What's happening, people?
Welcome to Face Mask Fantasy. Saturday night stream. We wish we would have been here last Saturday, but, circumstances. But we are back and streaming on our usual schedule. So good to be in here. What's going on, AB?
Yeah, it's good to be back. Good to be back on the regular cadence. Some things to figure out through week 2. Couple notable injuries to discuss and talk about. And if you're between a couple of options as it pertains to your flex spot or a final wide receiver spot, we are hopefully here to help. And we can talk through things through the evening. And if need be, we're here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern as well if we need to talk through that as we get right up to the early slate of games.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it too. Those morning streams are always fun.
Yeah, it'll be, it's a little hectic, right? It's a little haywire because we're down to the wire, so to speak, with only a couple of hours left to make what could be a difficult decision for your lineup. But hopefully that's what we can help out with. And this feels like a good time to just to that point, maybe declutter chat rooms here and there a little bit. Just always encourage anybody who's interested in keeping the conversation going, or if they have questions that they think of later or don't get answered at some point on one of the streams, you can join our Discord. Third link in the description of this video. You can crowdsource in there. You don't need to be a member to join. Although if you do join as a member, and there are details in the first description of in the first link in the description of this video, you would get sooner access to us as far as answering questions. So start-sit questions can be answered in Discord as well, but we're going to do that on this live stream as well because that's what it's all about.
And just another plug, if you're wondering what the second link in the description is, sandwiched in between the two that he was just talking about, it is our redraft draft kit. Now I know everybody's drafted. We're already going into week 2, so maybe you don't need a redraft draft kit anymore, but I mean, it is completely free. 30 plus pages of content, and it's you should just go and download it, check it out, and see if it's worth it to for next season, because it's a lot of good content in there. But regardless, Theo, is Kyle Phillips worth the pickup? Absolutely. He looked like he was Ryan Tannehill's go-to guy late in the game when Ryan Tannehill just needed to march up the field, which meant a lot to me.
I mean, 23-year-old, wide open opportunity. Robert Woods didn't make a whole lot of noise.
No, still coming off an ACL at 30 years old himself. So
right,
it was probably unfair of us to think that he was going to make much of a splash early in the year.
Well, he was always a second half guy, but Treylon Burks coming along, decent production, nothing that completely eye popping, but to that point, wide open target distribution potential here in Tennessee. So sure, why
and
not?
Going
Kyle
against
Phillips?
the Bills, so gotta keep pace.
Yeah.
They don't have Dontrell Hilliard for this game, so maybe he gets a few more short passes thrown his direction. Yeah, man, there is a route for him to get like 10 plus targets.
Yeah.
He got 9 last game, I think. Caught 6.
Yeah.
Victor Munoz, what's happening, man? Lost Pittman Jr. Yeah, me too in a couple of leagues. Yeah. Got Chark and Julio Jones to choose from in the waiver wire. Who are y'all feeling?
Julio.
Yeah, you gotta say Julio.
I mean, assuming he plays, I know everybody's injured, but to that point, Chris Godwin is not going to play. Mike Evans is coming into this game questionable. Russell Gage is coming into this game questionable. Julio himself is questionable, but if he goes,
like if it's him and Russell Gage are the top 2 wide receivers for the team, like he's gonna get the targets.
Yeah.
So yeah, Julio.
And
Julio.
you know, at the end of the day, you'll know if Julio, they both play in the 1 o'clock window. So if Julio's ruled out, then you know to pick up Chark. But if both are healthy or if both are activated for the game, well, Chark is not on the injury report. But if Julio is taken off the injury report, I prefer Julio to Chark.
Yes.
But the call will be easy if Julio is ruled out, obviously.
Damon Loose, what's happening, man? Is Kamara going to play? We really don't know yet.
I guess so.
We're still waiting.
Yeah. I mean...
So we'll have a better idea of this tomorrow when we stream 10 a.m. EST. But, I mean, we can speculate, but we don't know. So we're not sure. You think it's trending towards he is?
Me?
Yeah, you think it's trending towards he is?
It's like it's you know, maybe I haven't seen anything where it's like he's on the wrong side of questionable, but you know, this was bothering him last week. It's still bothering him enough where he's on the injury report and not, you know, we're not saying he's 100% ready to go. Yeah, I mean, that 11:30 Eastern window is when we really start to get inactives declared. So you'll have you'll have an hour and a half to make that call. But I mean, if you have Kamara, and I'm sure you already do, but just have those contingency plans ready to go.
Yep.
If you can stash somebody on IR who's ruled out and make a speculative ad at running back, although Mark Ingram is not one of those names just because he's also questionable. So I'm avoiding the Saints backfield options outside of Kamara. But yeah, have your backup plans, you know, ready, you know, on standby, basically.
Yeah. And I see you just as an extra comment down below, Zach Moss is the only real waiver wire pickup if Kamara isn't available. That's rough. But yeah, to Nick's point, is there anybody not named Mark Ingram in the Saints running back room that you can utilize there maybe?
I mean, Dwayne Washington? Yeah, see, no. I'm not touching this Saints backfield outside of Kamara. Zach Moss is fine.
It's just Zach Moss is going to get you like 2 points.
Could score a touchdown.
I feel like he's going to give you like 2 to 3 points. So I'm just thinking
he can give you 6 or 7.
Okay.
I do. I think he can give you 6.
But hey, who else is there? Is there anybody else out on the wire? Just throw some names out. Maybe we can help you make a decision that'll lead you to a higher upside play tomorrow. Because that's my issue with Zach Moss. He's just low floor, low ceiling. So I'd almost rather maybe even a lesser named guy who has a higher ceiling, just for tomorrow. Will Phillips have a better season than Westbrook-Akine? Yes. I think he already is.
Yeah, Westbrook-Akine was a tentative starter ahead of Burks. That didn't exactly, at least in the box score, play out that way. Yeah. Because Westbrook-Akine takes snaps away from Burks, not Phillips. So the Titans clearly, you know, he played week 1. They have a plan for Burks week 1. He's going to stay involved from the jump. Westbrook-Akine is the one who suffers from that. So yes, Phillips will have a better season. So yeah.
Bender, what's happening,
Bender?
man?
What's going on?
Good to see you. Crumply heads. And Victor, you said you knew it was going to be a game time pick, so I already got Sharp played. So
yeah, all right. Well, that's fine. At least have the healthy dude ready to go, but I do kind of like Julio's upside. I know it's a tough matchup, and for whatever reason, the Saints have been kryptonite for Brady since he signed with the Bucks. I would go Julio. Narrative I want to chase. I don't know if that's a narrative I want to chase. I like Julio's upside without Chris Godwin if he's in there.
Got a decent amount of yards, decent amount of catches last game. Role is much bigger this game, so it's kind of a what's not to like situation there.
Yeah. Plus, Mike Evans is questionable, and
Yeah.
Mike Evans is huge.
If
big
Julio
time
is
upside.
playing the Mike Evans role,
Yeah, I mean,
play him.
Mike Evans could exit this game early. We hope not, but he has a history with hamstrings. So I mean, yeah, if Julio's active, I think I would roll those dice. Now, Julio himself, of course, being 32, 33 years old, could pull a hammy and end up out of the game anyway. But I don't want to play scared like that. I think Julio's got a little bit more upside.
Yep, me too. And Crumply Heads, I am in the exact same position as you. Against Nick.
You're fine. You're fine.
I'm sitting Pittman, starting Jarvis.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. I like Jarvis. I have liked Jarvis. I've been drafting him even before he signed with the Saints this offseason. And his ADP still didn't climb high enough where I was discouraged off of drafting him. I think he's in a very good spot.
Bender, gamble on waiting until Monday night for Gabe Davis decision or roll with A-Rob. Now,
yeah, so this is going to be a trend, I would think, that for over the next 12 hours. What do we do with Gabe Davis?
And to me, it comes down to who's on the wire and is there a Kyle Phillips on the wire that you can drop somebody on your bench for, pick him up, and so he's your switch out. Because I almost like him as a higher floor, maybe not as, maybe same ceiling as A-Rob at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's out there, maybe something like that. But there's a tier breakish like thing for me with A-Rob. It's almost like I'd rather go see what's on the wire. Like I'm almost to Paris Campbell over A-Rob.
No, I can't.
I'm almost there, man. I gotta say.
Look, I'm off Allen Robinson, but I can't. I'm not that far off. And Paris Campbell's got a good opportunity this week, but also Paris Campbell could be a trap. Having to operate as a de facto number one. Here's where I'm at with Gabe. I had him in my flex regardless, just because I like putting Monday night players in my flex to, go as late into the window as possible to keep my flexibility open. Move Davis to your flex. Don't care who else is in there. Just move Davis to your flex. Leave him there tonight. Let's see if we get anything tomorrow. Let's see if we get anything before noon, or say between noon and 12:30 Eastern tomorrow. And obviously, if you have, that's if if you're in the early window. Allen Robinson plays in the late window, so you actually have until like 3:30, 3:45 to make a decision. If we get nothing new, I am erring on the side of caution, and I am moving somebody in like Allen Robinson over Gabe out of an abundance of caution, because these late injury ads, they could be nothing, but if they were nothing, he wouldn't get added to the injury report. I don't like late week downgrades. I'm just in a vacuum, not a fan of them, and I don't want to mess around. If you have somebody else who plays on Monday night who you would prefer to like Allen Robinson, or say like Kenny Gainwell, because remember, the Eagles and Vikings play on Monday night too. You do have an extra game to pivot to if you want. I'm trying to think if there's any other like ancillary plays, like maybe Devontae Smith. Yeah, KJ Osborne, if you prefer him, although I prefer Allen Robinson to KJ Osborne. Allen Robinson is a name where I don't feel great about it, but in this specific scenario, I will take that shot of going back to the well one more week with Allen Robinson at Gabe Davis's expense. It doesn't feel good, but these late week injury ads are a red flag.
Yeah, and that is the smart way to play it. So, good advice there. But yeah, I mean, I hope Gabe plays.
I hope Gabe plays. But yeah, Bender, just wait. Let's wait and see. Robinson doesn't play till 4:05. If it's 4:00 and we don't get any updates, if we get something positive from Gabe, then great, keep him in there. If we get nothing, or obviously worse news, if roll with Robinson. If I get no news between now and 4:00 tomorrow afternoon, I'm rolling with Robinson.
Toxic lore, what's going on, man? Traded Gabe Davis for James Conner in the for the flex and PPR. Did I win? It's tough to say at this point in the season.
Yeah.
James Conner has a higher floor. They have a similar ceiling. Maybe James Conner's a little bit higher than Gabe Davis's weekly ceiling. So, yeah, it's not a bad move. It depends how that trade impacted your team.
Right.
How's your wide receiver depth moving forward? And, your running backs probably look great if James Conner is in your flex. But how does that impact the rest of your squad? What is your wide receiver core?
Yeah. When you make a trade, the question you don't want to ask yourself, did I win? The question you want to ask yourself is, did my team get better?
Yes.
So like, who are your other backs? Who are your other wide receivers? What's the whole picture now? Let us know.
Jordan Mason. Yeah, man. He's a hot name right now.
People are interested in him. Yeah. We'll see what happens. It is a potential smash spot for the 49ers tomorrow against Seattle. I know they played well. They defended home turf. They beat the Denver Broncos. Division
but the
opponent.
Niners are going to want to come out and not go 0-2.
Yeah, division opponent who lost at home, their home opener. This is a tough spot for Seattle. San Francisco could roll, could run the ball a lot. Mason could get in there.
Yep.
And then people are asking the same questions they were asking about Isaiah Pacheco after week 1. Or
Elijah Mitchell week 2. Or last season.
Week 1 last year. Sure. AB,
I would go so far as to say, yep. We agree.
Yep. Stay away from the Saints. Well,
good point.
The pass catchers and if maybe if you went super punt on quarterback. I mean, Jameis is fine. Well, back injury, questionable. Scratch that. I don't know if I'd necessarily want to rely on Jameis this week. But Michael Thomas is fine. Jarvis Landry is fine. That might be it. Obviously, an active Kamara, you're firing up. But we'll see.
I mean, it might mean more Taysom Hill, actually.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's the X factor here. If he misses the game.
Yeah.
Then does Taysom Hill become a viable fantasy option at tight end? Sure.
Yeah, probably.
Especially in TE Prem leagues.
Yep.
Damon Lewis, Rashad White. This is to your question about better than Zach Moss.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Or Madison, or Jordan Mason.
I don't want to do Madison with a healthy Dalvin Cook.
This is gonna sound
intriguing.
What's that?
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say this is gonna sound crazy. I'm sure Gio Bernard is out on your waiver wire, and is he not completely healthy?
Yeah, he's completely healthy.
And
but
early in the year last year, he had a game where he had 13 targets early in the year. And late in the year and in the postseason, he was used heavily against the Eagles, I believe. With all the pass catchers that they might be missing. Maybe, I just think maybe with Tom Brady, with that O-line not looking as great as it has recently, maybe they deploy a little bit of Gio Bernard in a James White role.
That's a good point. But I mean, I'm going to
could also go to Rashad White.
I would, to that point, I think maybe I go Rashad White, because White was the guy who got in the game last week and was the only other running back other than Fournette to get any type of work. Yes, the circumstances are different this time around, so Gio could be deployed a little bit more, but Rashad is going to be deployed ahead of him. So yeah,
Rashad White this week.
Rashad
Interesting.
White. Yeah, I like Zach Moss. I do. I think the Bills are going to. I think they take care of this game, and it's a situation where like Zach Moss is getting second half carries. And he remembered I know he fumbled, but he was the second guy into the game last week against the Rams over James Cook.
And the Bills lost the Titans game last year pretty badly to Derrick Henry, basically.
Yeah, they want
to turn that whole narrative around.
They want some payback. I think the Bills want payback on the entire NFL.
Yeah.
I do. And so that's what makes Zach Moss viable to me. Like, I think all three of these running backs have some value. And again, Moss was second in the game last week, not James Cook. Does the fumble change things? Maybe. But I think this is a game where I could see the Bills winning this game by 14 points in the fourth quarter. And Zach Moss is like, is getting work in the second half and churning out yards.
Could be.
But if Rachaad White is out there,
I like his upside a little more.
I'd rather pick up Rachaad White. Yeah. And he's got some pass catching upside. Yeah. Yep. White, Damon, Rachaad White. And I agree.
Bender agrees. Quinn Math, what's happening, man?
What's up, Quinn?
Yeah, we are too.
What are
the whole fantasy community basically?
A whole lot of people are interested in Jordan Mason, man. I mean, you know how this 49ers backfield operates, right? And Jeff Wilson has not been the mark of good health. Maybe good fortune is the better term, but yeah, I mean, Jordan Mason, man, very intriguing name.
And is it CD or Brandon Cooks? I don't know if equals is the right.
He says CD equals Brandon Cooks. I don't know if that's an insult to CD or.
That's an insult to Brandon Cooks through outside of 1 week last year.
Actually, yeah, but I mean, Brandon Cooks has been rock solid for his career.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks has been a better wide receiver outside of 1 week from CD last year.
Yeah.
And to that point, Crumply Heads definitely Cooks.
Julio or Cooks? Cooks. I think he saw not my stat, but a 32% target share last week. That is going to be the case every week. He's going to see a third of their targets.
Yeah.
Yes, Cooks.
He would have had a bigger game last week, but I think he had something called back on a penalty. So, yeah. Cooks. New Jerusalem, what's happening, man?
Cooks is awesome.
D. Linney, you might be onto something. You really might be onto something.
It's not a bad thought. I think Doolin was the one who got a red zone look last week or a throw in the end zone. Yep. Didn't come down.
All pro. Mm-hmm. Special teamer, but all pro.
Yeah, I do. I'm a little worried Paris Campbell is a trap tomorrow.
He has been in the past.
Yeah. Look, he's got enticing talent, second round pick out of Ohio State from a few years ago. We just haven't seen anything from him. He's failed to stay healthy, and he's still young.
He's a wait and see. The reason why he is a little bit of more enticing pickup is because there are rumors that this is going to be a multi-week injury for Michael Pittman. Alec Pierce will be back because he's more of a game time decision, or has the feel of it at least, and he's just dealing with a concussion, I believe, so he should be ready for next week. But the rumblings are that Pittman is this might be multi-week, so that's
not great.
Another thing that might be a little bit of a check in the Paris Campbell area if you're deciding between a few people, because if he does fire, then he's more than a 1 week play.
Yeah.
But New Drew's Chark over Hines because Chark wants to make a statement to the Jags that Washington played last week. No,
Hines over Chark. He's got a chance to have a big time role as a pass catching back tomorrow. No Michael Pittman, no Alec Pierce.
Hines.
Yeah.
Because Paris Campbell is going to be playing out wide, Nyheim Hines is going to be picking up a lot of the slot work that would go to Paris Campbell. So, he could end the day with 8 targets, 9 targets. Honestly, more. Yeah. AB, what's going on, man? DPJ and KJ are good boom bust guys to pivot to if you lose a guy on any given week.
Sure.
Yeah.
If all you need is one play, which that's usually when you're pivoting to deep options, dart throws, it's like, I'm just looking for a guy to catch a 40-yard pass. right?
And DPJ
Anything
got
else is
11
gravy.
targets last week. So
Right. So keep the expectations low, and there's no way you can be disappointed.
A Rob is a wide receiver 3, Quinn.
Yeah, I agree.
Sadly, yeah.
Low,
Low end.
Yeah. He's ranked maybe 30 to 35 right now at best.
Jacob, what's happening, man? Should I trade Lazard, Burkhead, and Damian Pierce for David Montgomery?
That could be Lazard or Sammy Watkins.
No.
Just like
Nope.
Quinn said, no. Do not do that. I don't love any of those names, but I don't want to give up 3 guys for another dude who I don't love in David Montgomery.
Yeah, at the end of the day, what's really the difference between David Montgomery and what you were hoping Damian Pierce would turn into?
And Damian Pierce has more upside.
And you have Burkhead. You don't want to trade away that whole backfield. You own the whole backfield.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
Yeah, do not.
And you have technically the wide receiver 1 for the Packers coming back this week. So don't be off of Lazard just because you didn't see him last week.
Yep.
So no, I wouldn't do that. Stand pat. Or if you want to try to do something like that, aim higher than David Montgomery.
That package isn't getting probably better than David Montgomery, but sure.
Somebody got yeah, you're right. You're right.
There's just nothing there. No disrespect to Damian Pierce, but
Mario, good to see you, man. J.
Mario?
Rob, Penny, Jeff Wilson, or Donovan Peoples. Is that
DJ Moore? Is that like who is
Donovan
that?
Peoples Jones? Donovan Jones?
Probably not, but it might be DJ Moore. If it's DJ, I mean,
and PK, is that?
That's just pick one.
Okay, got you. Thanks.
Man. If it's DJ Moore, I think I'm going back to DJ Moore for one more week.
I just don't think it's DJ Moore.
If it's not, then I guess Robinson.
Is that DJ Chark?
Or it could be DJ Chark.
Because DJ Moore would be like of course you're going DJ Moore, but I think if it's a choice between that and DJ Chark, that makes a little bit more sense to ask. So to me, I'm either going Jeff Wilson or James Robinson. There, out of if it's Chark.
Yeah.
And
I'm between those two as well because Kenneth Walker is back. This is a tougher matchup for Seattle on the road.
And I mean, I think I know what J-Rob is. He's not going to get you 19 points a game.
No.
I think he might get you, more like 10 a game.
12, 13.
I feel like Jeff Wilson is the higher upside play because he can probably get you more than that. We should not be expecting that from J-Rob moving forward. So J-Rob's the safe play. Jeff Wilson is a higher upside play, but also has a similar floor. So honestly, for 1 week, I'd go Jeff Wilson. Because it does look like he's going to get the majority of the role in what should be a lucrative, and is always a lucrative position for fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Wilson. Wilson without Elijah Mitchell.
And Crumply Heads, Julio Cooks or Bateman. I mean, Cooks or Bateman it's a harder decision than Julio or Cooks.
Julio. I think I would go Cooks.
Cooks is safer.
Cooks has the game script.
Is it PPR?
In
Full PPR? Definitely Cooks. If it's half PPR standard, maybe more Bateman.
Bateman's going to see Xavier Howard. Not that he can't win that matchup. But Cooks has Patrick Surtain, so that's no walk in the park either.
I mean, Cooks is safer option. I think they're both high upside.
Cooks on the road in a tough matchup where game script is in his favor versus Bateman. Tough matchup, but he's at home in a situation where the Ravens maybe don't win comfortably, but they're the better team. You would expect them to win at home. You expect guys to naturally play better at home. These are the arguments in favor of Bateman. And then I already presented the argument in favor of Cooks. On the road, game script much more likely to be in his favor. Surtain is a great ascending talent, but Cooks is a veteran, savvy vet at that one.
I'm going Cooks.
It's tough. I think I go. I think Cooks is a little bit more high upside because he's the home run hitter. I think Bateman could give you maybe a little bit more safe play consistency.
I think with the target share that Cooks gets, he's a little bit of both.
Cooks has the target share.
Yeah, so even if he doesn't get the home run play, he's got a pretty decent floor himself. Yeah. So I think I'm going Cooks, but I'm a big fan of Brandon Cooks. Have been. You are too, but
I am too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cooks over Bateman.
But it's real close. They might be back to back in our rankings if we did it rankings.
Yeah. Now this one's not close. What's going on, Mike? Bateman
Rashad.
Or Mooney? This one's an easy call for Bateman.
Rashad.
Mooney had one catch, and now he might see Jair Alexander. Bateman.
Yeah, maybe Mooney was able to do what he did last season because opposing defenses were still treating Allen Robinson like the number one.
I'm not giving up on Mooney.
He still should be highly targeted, but that might be something we need to start.
We need to see it
ourselves.
When I have a guy like Rashad Bateman that I can turn to, I can put Mooney comfortably on the bench and see what he can do while I fire up something I'm a little bit more confident in right now. Bateman.
Yeah. Mooney is miscast as a team's wide receiver one. Bateman is his team's wide receiver one.
Yep. Theo's got a Colts tight end question.
Granson or Ali Cox? Honestly, man.
Flip a coin.
To flip a coin, Ali Cox has a little bit more touchdown upside. Granson is going to be a little bit more. He's going to have to play wide receiver out of necessity this week.
Yeah.
So he's gonna get a little bit more of a PPR bump because he could have 8 targets this week.
Did Granson catch a score last week?
No, but he was heavily utilized. I don't know if he scored a touchdown. He might have. But Ali Cox was less involved last week even.
Yeah, Mo was not. 3 targets for 20 or 3 catches for 22 yards. I'm going Mo. I feel like he's just got a slightly better chance of just catching a 1-yard pass for a touchdown. Just as a 6'6" body in the red zone. Give me
True.
When it's like when we're streaming tight ends in my head, or at least after my process, who might catch a touchdown? Like who's got a 40% chance to catch a touchdown versus who's got a 35% chance to score a touchdown?
I do like the swerve to Granson, though. I have to say.
All right. I'm taking Mo. But flip a coin, to be honest. Yeah. Either one might deliver, but in different ways. Mario's got one more question. Knox or Kmet? Dawson Knox. Go back to the well for one more week. Bills at home. Role players play better at home. Knox.
Weird playmakers were getting big plays and stuff in that Bears game, and I know that might have just been because of the rain and it was just a weird game in general.
Week 1.
But Equinemius St. Brown and Dante Pettis, who would have called those two as the guys that were going to be the beneficiaries of touchdowns? But I mean, we could see a little bit more of when we thought it was going to be just Mooney and Kmet. It's obvious there's going to be more people involved. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, Knox.
Mm-hmm.
Should you trade Jalen Hurts for Stephon Diggs? You can pick up Carson Wentz from free agency.
Yes.
I think so.
Yes. Yeah, it's a big drop off for quarterback upside, but you're getting a top 5 wide receiver.
I don't know if it's from quarterback upside, but definitely quarterback consistency. Carson Wentz got you 30 points last week. But he can get you
this week.
He can get you, exactly. Whereas Hurts is much more consistent.
Yeah, but Diggs is top 5.
Yeah, I think I would drop him for Diggs.
Yeah, I would.
If you could trade Jalen Hurts for Diggs and pick up Carson Wentz. Yep.
Yeah, I would.
You could even continue to just stream quarterback too.
Yeah. Yeah, do it.
Yeah, and yo, D. Linney, that is an interesting question. Benjamin or Zach Moss? You think Benjamin is better than Zach Moss?
Yeah, he said, better option than Moss. Yeah.
More PPR upside, that's for sure.
I don't know that Andy Isabella has any impact on the target share, but Rondale Moore does. Yeah, Rondale does.
But I think that's even more of a Greg Dortch boost too.
Dortch.
Would you feel comfortable playing A.J. Dillon in the flex against the Bears this week? I'd feel comfortable playing A.J. Dillon at my RB2 spot any week. So flex, absolutely.
I'm comfortable firing Dillon up in all matchups.
Yes.
Over multiple names.
He was you said a couple of times earlier this week, RB10 last week.
He was the RB10, yeah. So he's he's got RB1 upside every single week.
Cooper Rush, an okay play in the Superflex? Yep.
Yeah, it's fine.
You don't love to do it, but I mean, there are worse options. But you're hoping he gets you more than 10 points, which basically means you're kind of in the same position as if you were to play another position in the Superflex, which again kind of negates the point of playing two quarterbacks in a format like that. So I'm not expecting much from Cooper Rush, and if you have really good bench options, Cooper Rush is the tier break where I mean, if you have a solid wide receiver 2 with 25-point upside, I think I might go at least consider somebody like that over Cooper Rush. Because, I mean, Cooper Rush can get you 5 to 10 points.
Yeah. What are your other options?
Yep. So Jared Cook is being panic dropped in a lot of our leagues. What do you guys think about him this season? James Cook.
Oh, James Cook.
I don't think in a redraft league, I don't think he's a must hold.
No, probably not.
So I can see why he's being dropped.
I mean,
in Dynasty, there's no reason that should happen. But
in redraft, it makes sense. I mean, here's the thing: his role is undetermined, and it's going to be inconsistent. I mean, you can keep an eye on him, but who are you dropping right now for him? You know, there's a good chance the guy at the very end of my bench I don't want to drop for James Cook.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on him, but if anything happens with Moss, that would be good news for him, but I'm not going out of my way to make him a waiver, to prioritize him off waivers.
No. Quinn, you won week 1 in your big boy league. All right. All right, let's check the squad. Herbert, Najee, Dillon, Debo, Amon-Ra, Gibson, and Rams defense. Bench, Jahan Dotson, Allen Lazard, Kirk Cousins, Dameon Pierce, Amari Cooper, and Packers defense. Solid team, man.
Yeah, it looks good to me. You can play either one of those defenses this week. It's up to you. Herbert did fine. Obviously, you're monitoring his rib injury. That's going to be a pain tolerance thing.
I mean, honestly, can you drop the Packers D for Jaylen Warren?
Yeah, just
because you got Najee.
Yeah.
And while you can elevate Gibson, and then you can put Lazard in your flex or something like that. Come bye weeks or in case of injury, I think it might be a good idea for you specifically, and really anybody out there who has Najee Harris, to roster Jaylen Warren.
Yeah.
He's one of those handcuffs where, like, if I have Dalvin Cook, I probably want Alexander Mattison rostered.
Yeah, Najee's dicey right now. I would want Warren on my team.
Cali Loco, what's happening, man? Tony Jones Jr. if Kamara is out.
No, sir.
I think
No,
at that
sir.
point you at least monitor what's going on with Mark Ingram, but honestly, I'm moving away. We discussed this earlier, and we're both of the mind that you just move to a different backfield altogether.
Yeah.
You don't try to replace the production in this backfield when you're dealing with talents like Tony Jones Jr. at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Swerve somewhere else.
Crumply heads, Chark, Dubs, or Samuel. Pick 2. Chark and Samuel.
Dark and Samuel. Yeah.
Yep.
Rather easily.
Yep. And Quinn
Rather
Math
easily.
with the high roller squad.
Dang. Good for you, man.
Crumply heads, Hines over Marquise. No.
No.
I expect a better week from Marquise this week.
I do too. And it doesn't take much for him to fire. It only takes one play for Marquise Brown to hit.
And Callie,
No
hey
run,
man,
Dale.
sorry about that. Sorry to hear. If it gets a little lighter, or it works, or works out, just come through again.
Yeah, or you can always hit us up in the Discord tonight if you need to.
Yep. And we're here tomorrow too. Tomorrow morning.
Right. We're here tomorrow as well. For anyone who might just have come in late or maybe for the first time, if that's the case, welcome. Just FYI. We do get to every question in the chat. We see there's a few questions piling up. We will get to everybody, so we just appreciate the patience. You can also tonight, if you can't make the stream or your question doesn't get answered, you can join our Discord. Third link in the description of this video. Evergreen invite. You can crowdsource thoughts about start sit in there as well.
Truth, please. What's happening? Have PPR on my flex. Landry or Mooney? This is actually, it's weird to say. I never would have thought I'd be saying
Mooney?
this, 2 weeks ago. But this is a tough decision. If the Kamara news comes down and he's not playing, that's even more juice for Landry to be a PPR magnet. I think they have similar upside, similar floor. But obviously we saw Mooney completely bottom out last week. I think
He should bounce back.
I think the Bears are gonna try to make a point to.
Get him involved.
Yeah. Whereas Landry, I think who are they? They're playing the Bucks.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's tough. I think I might go Landry. Is that crazy?
No, it's not crazy. I was thinking this myself. Landry is at home in the Dome. Mooney is on the road in Lambeau. There's no condition concerns at this point in the year. Well, let's take a trip up to Lambeau. See what the weather reports are for Sunday night in Green Bay. Just out of curiosity. I'm gonna look this up. Can you real quick jump? I'm gonna jump to the next question, and I'll come back to my Landry versus.
To
Mooney.
me, it hinges on Kamara. If Kamara is playing, takes a little bit of the PPR upside out of his sales. And that point, I'm going Mooney. If Kamara is not going, I think I go edge Landry, even though it's still real close, and I wouldn't hate you if you went Mooney either way. Because really, these are two really good options in basically a similar ballpark.
I'm okay with that. And I'll go as far as to say if Kamara is, if he's expected to be active, but he might be limited, I'm still going Mooney. I would still go Mooney. But yeah, I'm good with that answer. If Kamara's out, Landry. If Kamara's active, even if they are saying he might be on a pitch count, Mooney. And no weather concerns in Green Bay for Sunday night.
Oh, Mario, DJ is Deontay Johnson? All right.
Oh.
Well, that changes things up. Then you're playing Deontay.
Play Deontay. Yeah. Play Deontay.
Yeah.
No question.
You're playing Deontay.
Question. Yes, sir.
That changes everything.
Yes, it does.
Eduardo, you got Kyle Pitts
Eduardo.
and Gerald Everett. Keep both or trade one.
Keep both.
You could keep both. Honestly, bro, I think Gerald Everett is going to have a role like he's had through the past 2 games all season.
Keep both.
I think if you're feeling like betting on the Gerald Everett acquisition that you just got him on your squad, whatever. You could trade Pitts for literally anything in the league. So if you got a weak wide receiver core and you want to make Pitts into Jefferson, that's something that hey, I'm just saying, Pitts you can basically name your asking price. So it really depends on the rest of your squad, Eduardo. If you're set everywhere else, then having Gerald Everett and Kyle Pitts is a luxury that I don't want to move away from. If you have deficiencies on your squad, then I think Everett is safe all year, and I think you can move Kyle Pitts for a haul. Is basically my point. And at that point, yeah, I would entertain moving Kyle Pitts. It's just kind of like the Jalen Hurts for Stephon Diggs and then pick up Carson Wentz situation from before. If you can get an elite option at another position where you might be deficient and the drop-off is, Gerald Everett's been great, then, I don't have an issue with that. We love Kyle Pitts, but if this is redraft, I don't have an issue with that. So
we disagree.
Depends on your squad.
Yeah, I just don't. I would keep Kyle Pitts because he had a bad week. Therefore, I'm operating like you can't get just anything right now, and so let him remind people who Kyle Pitts is before you entertain that.
Okay, I'll agree with that. Wait a week.
Wait until he reminds everybody who Kyle Pitts is.
But don't be afraid later in the year to, bring that up to somebody. Say, yo, you interested in Kyle Pitts? I got Everett. I'm fine. Because I think Everett's going to continue this.
I would hold for now. It's a little different for me talking about trading Jalen Hurts for Stephon Diggs because in a 1-quarterback redraft league, quarterback is pretty easy to replenish.
Fair.
Tight end is not. I would hold.
But, outside of one bye week incoming, you have it locked down. So there is that too. But, yeah, we disagree there, I guess. But either way, like, again, if your team is stacked otherwise, then stand pat.
Yep.
Jason G, flex spot, Devin Singletary, Tyler Lockett, or Darnell Mooney. I think it's Devin Singletary and then Darnell Mooney, then Tyler Lockett for me.
Is it
It might be PPR? Mooney over Singletary.
I might do Mooney over Singletary.
It's tough, man.
Mooney's got the game script in his favor. Well, so does Singletary.
Singletary is the guy to own. If you want one of the Bills' backs, he's the guy to own. If no Gabe Davis does impact him to a certain extent.
Yeah. It's on the better offense. Is it? Yeah, the scoring, Jason, would help me confirm my answer. If it's PPR, I might say Mooney, but even if it's half or standard, then I'm fine with Singletary. But I do think Mooney's going to course correct a decent bit this week.
I think so too. I'm hoping he does. I'm playing him against you.
Yeah, no rain, no weather concerns.
It is PPR. Okay, then Mooney.
I'm thinking Mooney.
But I think Singletary's going to pick up a few more catches if Gabe Davis is not in the game.
Yeah, he might. But I think Mooney's in line for a solid amount of work in a game where we expect the Bears to be losing.
Hunter, what's happening, man? We missed you in the past few live streams, man. We wanted to talk Packers with you. We wanted to ask you how you feeling about our preseason and off-season takes on Aaron Rodgers are feeling.
Well, it's been 1 week.
I know.
But
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. Good to have you in here, man.
yeah, hope all's good.
Yo, you got TDP, New Jerus. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Could be him. Not as excited about him because he was a healthy scratch week 1 with Jordan Mason being activated over him. Not a great sign, but he technically is a lottery ticket too.
Yeah, I'm a little less enthusiastic about him. He does not seem to be the guy in the rotation that is next up for an opportunity. We'll see.
Yeah.
We've seen more bizarre developments happen, but yeah, the week 1 healthy scratch. Don't love that.
Kuba, what's happening? Zeke or Lazard? I'm going Zeke.
Yeah, I don't feel great about it. I guess Lazard is in the better situation at home against the Bears, but is Lazard like 100%? Is he off the injury report?
I don't think so. I just think he's playing.
He's still questionable.
And Zeke averaged 5.2 yards per carry last week. He only received 10 attempts and only 2 targets, but he was still effective on the ground.
I know it's not great.
And maybe Cooper Rush hyper targets the running backs out of necessity because the team's trash.
They run the ball a lot.
Yeah.
Lazard was limited in practice all week, so he has a shot to play in week 2. He's not even 100% guaranteed to suit up. Zeke. Yeah, it doesn't feel great, but if Lazard is my alternative, I'll roll the dice on the floor that Zeke has.
Bambo. What's happening, man? I like that. Flex only. 3. Pick 3, I guess. Pollard, Paris, Campbell, Hollywood, Shark, Rex, Zach Moss, Robbie Anderson.
Hollywood, Pollard,
Shark.
Well, yeah, Chark. For a second, I was like Burkhead, but no, we need to see that backfield play out before I confirm.
The coaching staff said that they want to use Dameon Pierce more than they did week 1, and they don't know how it ended up that way when they look back at they said that he was the starter. They said he wasn't the starter. They said he wasn't the starter. Then they said he was the starter. I don't believe a damn thing that they say. Regardless, Hollywood, Chark, and Pollard would be the way that I would go.
Yeah.
And if you want to move off Chark for anybody, for me, well, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't be chasing Robbie Anderson. So.
No, I wouldn't chase Robbie. Although he is back in New York. It's not a revenge game, but he played in that stadium. That regardless, I do think I would go Chark. Well, at home, they scored 35 points last week. He caught a score. I'm intrigued by Paris Campbell, but he feels like a trap.
Yeah. Notorious T by TBG, good to see you, man.
What's up,
Thanks
Notorious?
for finally making a stream. I would definitely go AJ Dillon in this case.
Dillon, not worth the risk when you have a player of Dillon's caliber to pivot to.
Yeah, it was an RB1 last week.
Yeah, Dillon, relatively easily. It sucks. I love Gabe, but I don't like these. These are red flags, man. I don't like these late injury ads coming out of practice. I'm not a fan. Don't like it. Dillon, rather easily.
Yep. D. Linney Cooks also runs routes outside and from the slot.
Yep.
Likely won't be shadowed the entire game. Yeah, Isaiah likely won't be either.
Stop. Oh God.
Oh man.
No, it's a good point. They move him around the formation. They'll give him different looks. They'll find ways to scheme him open. And Davis Mills loves throwing him the ball. So yes, he's a great. I would say he's a top 15 option this week.
Absolutely, he's a top 15 option every week.
Probably.
It's a revenge game for Equinemius St. Brown.
Was he on the Packers?
Yeah.
Or was it?
He started on the Packers. Yeah.
Yeah.
All them brothers stay in that division.
Oh man.
AB, you're streaming tight ends this year in your home league, and it's the equivalent to driving down PCH with the top down. All right. All right. I like that analogy. Streaming tight ends, yeah.
Hey, man. Sounds like a good ride, to be honest. It's a little slow. But you'll get there eventually. It's a good view.
You had experience with that. I do not.
It's a good view. Oh, it's a nice drive, but you better commit your day to it.
Fair enough. Other people out there doing the same thing.
You just can't get off. You can't. There are very few places where you can like get off the PCH and then it's convenient to get back to the highway. I mean, you can.
Fair enough.
If you're gonna do it, you might as well commit and do it. It can be tough to get off, depending on where you're at.
And Crumply Heads, I would stick with those first options.
Oh, Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
As far the super flex, yeah, just fire up the quarterback.
Yep. D. Linney, Kyler Murray said in an interview that he needs to get Marquise the ball. Top wide receiver needs 10 targets a game.
Yeah. And
that's what we were expecting from him for week 1. It was kind of weird to see Greg Dortch be so involved.
Week 1 is weird.
It is.
Week 1 is weird. There's got to be a sense of urgency in Arizona. I mean, they're like a prime candidate to take a step back this year across the board. But if they want their season to be worth anything, you don't want to start 0-2. And while they might start 0-2, I think they course correct with their game plan this week, and that involves the guy that they traded a first-round pick for. So yeah, I think Hollywood makes sense to go back to the well as somebody who you probably drafted at like around the 3-4 turn in your drafts.
Honestly, and a completely different squad, completely different situation, but with no Dontrell Hilliard and he being kind of a short to intermediate part of the field aggregator for them, Treylon Burks gets a little bit of a boost, just like Kyle Phillips does. Because Treylon Burks is utilized in the short to intermediate part of the field as well, even though he is a wide receiver 1. He's just utilized a little bit differently. So, Marquise Brown applies to that. Top wide receiver need 10 targets a game. Don't expect Treylon Burks to get 10 targets a game, but if the Titans were to be in a game where they needed to, it would probably be against a team like the Bills right now. So, high upside plays there. Basically, I'm playing Burks and Phillips if I need to. I'm not staying away from those options this week. But with respect to this question, yeah, Marquise Brown is due for a little bit of a production bump week 2. And Jay repeated, I'm not going to say all those J's. Are you crazy for wanting to bench Metcalf for Julio in your wide receiver 3 spot? Half PPR. Might not do it. Might be, yeah. I mean, I don't think.
You're not crazy, but don't do
I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah.
I don't think we're there yet. Metcalf caught every single one of his balls last week.
Yeah.
7 for 7.
Yep. Go back to the well with DK. I'm not worried about DK.
Yep.
Geno seems to hyper target him. Yeah. He'll be fine.
Yeah, Metcalf will always be dominant, but he will have weeks that are going to suck. He's a boom-bust wide receiver, even though he is an alpha. That's more of a nature of the quarterback that he's playing with. But if last week was a bust week, this week could be a boom week. They might need it against the Niners. So we'll see. Man, D. Linney thinks Mooney all day. Prediction 11 targets. 95 yards and a touchdown. Could happen. Could.
Yeah, I mean, go with your gut. If you believe in your guy, call your shot.
Quinn Math, Alec Pierce scores a touchdown this weekend and gets 8 targets. That is if he plays.
He's not Quinn. He's out, man. He has a concussion.
Is he officially ruled out now?
He's out. Pierce is not playing. He is out.
Yeah.
So if he does that on a concussion, then he is really built different. But something tells me that's not going to happen. Yeah, Pierce is ruled out. And Mario, you're welcome. Appreciate the
Yeah,
Appreciate your
Thanks.
thoughts.
Lawrence Franklin, what do y'all think about Alan Lazard? I mean, Nick already talked about it just a few minutes ago. He's not a sure thing to start. No, if he starts, he should be their wide receiver 1, but he's not a sure thing to play in week 2.
Yeah. If this is about this week, I'm not playing him. If this is about in general, I'm not. I'm not crazy about him just because he has been so far billed as Aaron Rodgers wide receiver 1. I know it looked like last week they could have used him, but I also don't know that Alan Lazard is that caliber of receiver to make the Packers offense look a little better than they were last week. I am not crazy. I have not been crazy about any Green Bay offensive player outside of Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. And last week didn't give me any reason to feel otherwise. I don't know that Alan Lazard is the guy that comes in and can give you consistent. Maybe he gives you a little bit consistent wide receiver 3 usage, but I think that's where his ceiling is. And drafting a guy like that in the 8th round is not super appealing to me because that's where I was started to target those were my hero running back targets. That's where I was drafting Antonio Gibson because he was falling that far. Josh Jacobs was falling that far. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the Patriots running backs. Like those are the names that I was drafting in that range. Melvin Gordon, maybe even. Lazard doesn't do it for me. I know he got 8 touchdowns last year, but he has not done enough to make me feel like he has earned the right to view him as a team's wide receiver 1, even one with Aaron Rodgers as its quarterback.
Well, it's not really that. No, I don't think anybody's arguing that he's earned that. It's just he is that by nature of look at the other options that are there.
Yeah,
I mean,
and for that reason, I'm not excited about.
Right, I do think right now he presents a little bit of a. If you were in on Alan Lazard, this is a buy window for Alan Lazard.
Sure.
Because there's going to be another week where we just have not seen him on the field. Fantasy owners getting patient. They're probably thinking about dropping him altogether, so you can probably get him for the last person on your bench at this point. And I think he presents more value to you than the last person on your bench does right now. I think he's a solid wide receiver 4, fill-in, flex, bye-week type wide receiver. That's where you want him. I don't think he is a every-week starter. But if I can flip my last pick, the guy that I drafted with in round 16 or something like that, who has done a little bit more through 2 weeks than a guy who hasn't done anything at all in Alan Lazard, and you can flip him for Alan Lazard, I would do that, and I think you can right now. Because I think Alan Lazard is close to being dropped by a few people.
Probably.
So I would rather have Alan Lazard than Isaiah Pacheco right now.
Yeah, I guess so.
So that's kind of what I'm getting at. Ewick, what's happening, man? Quick question, lineup question. You need to know who to start at flex. You're in an 8-man PPR. Darrell Henderson, Michael Thomas, CeeDee Lamb, or Sutton.
Oh, wow.
8-man, those 8-man decisions, man.
Yeah, they're tough.
Sutton, not CeeDee this week.
Yeah, I guess if you could pivot to these guys, then yeah, it's crazy. But CeeDee's dealing with a backup quarterback and only caught like 2 or 3 passes last week. I would bench him. It's either Sutton or Michael Thomas.
Yeah, and who do the
gotta go Michael
Broncos
Thomas.
have?
The Broncos have Houston at home. The Saints have the Bucks at home. I think I would go Thomas. Because as much as we like Jarvis Landry, he is not on Jerry Jeudy's level as far as a complementary talent. Thomas, I know it's only 1 week, but he kind of reasserted himself last Sunday.
Again, to me, I think this comes down to, is Kamara playing? I'm going to say that a lot when we're talking about these Saints players, if it's close between the other option. If Kamara is not playing, I'm going Michael Thomas. If he is playing, I think I'm going Sutton. because Sutton got just as much work as Jerry Jeudy, and while he might not be as explosive, he is. I mean, DK Metcalf was not as explosive as Tyler Lockett was still a wide receiver 1. And nobody else in that offense really stepped up outside of, Javonte getting 11 targets. So I think just breaking that down into, whose secondary wide receiver in that offense is better is that wouldn't be my deciding factor here. It's does Michael Thomas get more targets than the 8 that were afforded to him last week? If he does, because no Kamara's there, I'm going Michael Thomas. If it's around the same, I think Sutton's just as good of an option and might be a little safer because Michael Thomas benefited from 2 touchdowns last week.
Yeah.
But neither of those options are bad options. So,
yeah,
but
either
again, it comes down to
Thomas.
Kamara for me.
Yeah, okay. And then it's like whatever situation you personally feel better about, but those would be one of the 2 options.
Yep. New Jerusalem, Singletary or Hines, full PPR, Hines. I think I go very close to the tier break, but I think I go Hines. Full PPR.
Yeah.
This week.
No Michael Pittman, no Alec Pierce.
Paris Campbell's going to have to play out wide.
And we've been calling him a more concern about being a trap. Yeah, sure.
He's a slot receiver.
Hines.
Yeah.
Hines.
Yep.
Yeah. Should see decent usage.
D. Linney, ATL head coach, said rookie Ritter will get his chance to start this year. Yeah. I think
sense.
Soon.
Falcons
It's just Mariota hasn't stumbled yet. There's no reason to go to Ritter.
Yeah, I mean, they have no incentive to play Mariota long term. They have every incentive to tank. They might as well check, they might as well see what they have with Ritter. It's probably going to happen, I would say, by week 6 or 7.
Yeah, it's not going to happen yet. It's going to happen when Mariota stumbles. And Mariota will stumble at some point within the next 6 games, and then they won't hesitate to move over to Ritter.
Yeah, or if they just start losing games, which they're on their way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On it, we are more than fine. We just need to trade for that guy in LV. I think his name is Adams. Yeah.
Yeah, he would be a good pickup.
Yeah.
That would be helpful.
The Patrick Haas, what's happening, man? Is playing Hunt and Cleveland's defense too risky? Should you flex Edmonds or Henderson instead? It's not too risky.
No.
Edmonds or Henderson instead?
Over Hunt? No, I can't. Nah. I do like Chase Edmonds this week, but
it's close, but I would say no too.
Yeah, I would say Kareem Hunt. Just with the backup quarterback, he's probably gonna see a ton of targets.
And he's always he scores touchdowns every week. Somehow.
Yeah, Hunt's got a nose for the end zone.
Yeah, he's kind of like running back Adam Thielen.
Yeah, kind of. So, and Cleveland's defense is at home playing the Jets. That's not risky at all. That's a good play.
D. Linney, you're not wrong. You're not wrong in that assessment, but nowhere throughout in the offseason did I hear the coaching staff or reporters say anything glowing about TDP. I heard it about Mason.
Yeah.
I heard it about Mason a lot, dating back 2 months ago. It wasn't a recent development. So I've really heard nothing good about TDP. He could be fine. Maybe no news is good news, but to me, even if that is the sole reason, because TDP doesn't contribute on special teams, well, TDP needs to start getting better at special teams then. But I still think it's Mason over TDP, because have heard glowing comments about Mason. I have not heard anything really said about TDP from the coaching staff this past offseason.
I guess for me, it's not as much that it's not as much of what the coaching staff said about Mason. It's just that TDP also gave us nothing to work with as far as, and again, take the preseason with a grain of salt, but he didn't look very good. I'm just, and obviously, again,
the draft community was not expecting him to get chosen in round 3. He was a surprise name to get chosen there. It was like a, whoa, okay, maybe we need to check this guy out. It was never a, oh, this is where he should have been drafted situation for TDP. He was kind of viewed around the same, like probably, I know maybe a round's difference doesn't make that much of a difference to you guys, but it does in the NFL. I think he was more of a 4th, 5th round pick. I think you could have put, I mean, he was around the same talent pool as a Snoop Connor.
Yeah.
Prospect-wise coming in. It was a surprise that he got picked in the 3rd round. And we want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, maybe when they pick running backs high, it does not work out. They have a track record of that. Yeah, and Notorious, I would agree. Jason G, do you guys think Derrick Henry is going to turn it back on soon?
I mean, he had a slow start last year, but that was also before the foot injury. For Derrick Henry's sake and just in general, because it's good for football, I hope so. But I can't commit to just like an empty or, just, oh yeah, he's going to bounce back because I want him to. I hope so, but I'm it's a question mark. He's old. He's 29 now. And this was a major injury that he dealt with last year. I know he's back, but suffering a major injury when you're 29 is different than when you're suffering a major injury when you're 22, 23. As a running back. I hope so. Again, Derrick Henry's been awesome. He's a Hall of Famer. It's incredible watching him run. It wouldn't surprise me just because he has absorbed mammoth workloads like 3 years in a row and defied all trends and attempts at charting his projection year over year or his production year over year. That doesn't mean he's going to do it forever.
No, he might look better this week because no Dontrell Hilliard. So this might be a week where you can sell Derrick Henry after this week. With the news of that, like maybe he looks a little bit better than he should against the Bills defense because he's catching a few passes and his box score looks a little bit better at the end of the day, and then you can maybe sell Derrick Henry, but that's kind of where my mind is at with Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
is when does he turn it back on so I can sell him? And Quinn, I mean, that's where he was being valued. It sucks that he lost his quarterback.
I was not crazy about him at the 1-2 turn. I will say
no,
that.
we weren't. Not at the turn in round 2, but he was a second-round pick. He should have been a second-round pick. He should not have fallen to the 3rd. But around the 1-2 turn was too rich for me, too.
It always felt a little high. I do want to see my CD exposure, actually, right now in best ball.
Iron, what's happening, man? Guess you have to play A-Rob over Gabe again. What are the chances that Gabe is missing? I mean, at this point, it's 50-50, and we really don't know. I don't know about playing the chances game. We had an earlier question about A-Rob over Gabe, and I think that's going to be a question we're going to see many times over the next 2 days. But yeah, I don't think it's not a bad play. You don't feel great about it considering last week, but A-Rob should have a little bit of a bounce back game.
I don't know if I advise this, but if you're not feeling Allen Robinson, right? Like, because I'm definitely like with
yeah.
If you're not feeling Allen Robinson, you can wait on Gabe as long as you have a Monday night pivot.
Yes. Yes.
And now that can also include the Eagles and Vikings. So if you have like Kenny Gainwell, I would still do Allen Robinson over Kenny Gainwell. But if you're off Allen Robinson,
Burks or
you
Phillips,
can pivot to that. Well,
I would play either.
I'm talking Monday night if you want to wait on Gabe.
Yeah. No. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Those are both Titans.
The Bills.
I would play either of those guys over A-Rob if I wanted to wait for Gabe. Yes.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, you could do that. So like Phillips, maybe you feel a little bit better. That's wild. Kyle Phillips or Allen Robinson. Football's a funny sport. Fantasy's a funny sport, I guess I should say. Phillips, Burks, Kenny Gainwell. Like if you're off Allen Robinson, you could swerve to one of those guys who are also playing on Monday night.
And Callie, found your window, so awesome. I think you go A.J. Dillon there and don't really, just don't think about it too much.
Dillon.
Yep.
Dillon. Yep. The fact that Gabe Davis, if you're between two guys like Gabe Davis and A.J. Dillon, and this isn't the first time we've gotten this question, Dillon is a strong enough option to pivot to in this scenario without question.
And I wasn't trying to skip over you, Iron. Just wanted to give Callie a shout out just because he's in a window of time.
Yep.
But Iron, with Pittman and Pierce out, do you think Jelani Woods could see some targets? I mean, he could, but I don't think so. I think they really want to redshirt him.
Yeah, I'm not banking on that in any way.
Yep. D. Linney stashed Christian Watson. He will be the number one waiver claim if he has a good game. He's not in the doghouse. Coach and Aaron Rodgers said impressive things after missing most training camp reps.
I mean, the opportunity is wide open. I'm just not sure how.
I mean, I would rather stash like a DPJ.
Yeah, wow, really? I guess
Than Christian Watson? Yeah. If DPJ continues to get 11 or average around 11 targets or that kind of usage, 9 to 11 targets, I'm taking that all day. And then if again, later in the year, his usage goes down, he gets an upgrade at quarterback by week 12. Where, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, the offense is going to be the offense. It's going to sputter, and I'm not really expecting Christian Watson to step into the number one role.
I mean, he should have his weeks. These young guys who are a little bit, they're more like projects. I know he got into the game week 1, obviously, and should have had that catch, and it's an entirely different story if he does.
Yes.
It just feels like he's behind the 8 ball as far as the missed practice time. I know he's getting his reps back now, right? Now that the season has started. Maybe. I know, again, it's a wide open opportunity for targets in Green Bay. I'm having a hard time getting behind that one. If you believe, go get him.
Yeah. I subscribe to that for anybody. If you believe in the player, go and get him.
You believe in the player, go get the player. I don't know that I necessarily believe in that situation with Christian Watson.
And I gotta say, me neither. Zav Slays, you have Keenan Allen and Pittman as your main wide receivers. Bro. Bad luck with Gabe Davis swapping in for Allen. Oh, man. You have to play Marquise Brown and Drake London. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and those aren't bad plays. I wouldn't feel bad about playing Marquise Brown. Drake London is a little bit more of a dart throw, but it's a high upside dart throw.
I would start Drake London in this scenario, and it's actually nicely done that you have this depth that you can turn to.
Absolutely.
Yes, Hollywood and Drake London. At this point, right now, if we do not, and you do have the luxury, so they both play in the afternoon, in the late window. Hollywood and London, they both play in the later window, so you have extra time just in case. But yeah, if it's 4:00 tomorrow afternoon or 3:55 tomorrow afternoon and we haven't heard anything new about Gabe, then yes, pivot to both. If we get some good news, you do have the luxury of a couple of extra hours. Not that anything's probably going to come down, but if it does, You have a little extra time. If anything is, Gabe Davis is feeling better today, talking about Sunday, if Gabe Davis is feeling better, optimistic about his chances Monday night, then okay, go back to the well with Gabe. If it's anything less, Hollywood and London both.
Yes.
It's nothing. If we get nothing, if we have the same information tomorrow that we have right now, then yeah, Hollywood and London.
And Patrick, that's what we do out here, man. Thanks for chilling with us.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, if you haven't already, hit us with a subscribe, hit us with a like. We'd appreciate it.
If you like what you see in here. Yeah. And as I said, we do engage with everybody with as many questions as we can get to. So if you have just recently asked a question, you scroll up and see where we are as far as answering them. Don't worry. We will get to everybody.
Yep. Victor Munoz, Bateman, or Julio Jones? It's Bateman. There's a tier break.
We missed Joe Harris, but yes, Bateman.
Oh, sorry about that, Joe.
Yeah.
Pittman is out, full PPR, 3 wide receiver set, and 1 flex. Here's my team after starting CMC and Tyreek at wide receiver 1 and RB1. Antonio Gibson, Darrell Henderson, J.K. Dobbins, Herbert, Lazard, Gabe Davis, and Treylon Burks. You need to start 4.
Gibson,
that's
Henderson,
Khalil Herbert.
Gibson, Henderson, Dobbins, Herbert.
Yeah,
that's what I would do. Those first 4 names, the running backs. I would start the running backs. Dobbins feels dicey, but I mean,
maybe I go Treylon Burks over Herbert.
You would go Treylon Burks over Herbert?
Yeah. I mean, Herbert looked good last week, scored a touchdown last week, but I mean, he's kind of, that was very encouraging. It's what you want to see. He's still kind of a wait and see for me too.
Oh, I don't think so.
And considering going up against the Bills, Treylon Burks, no Dontrell Hilliard, I do think that matters.
I'm going Herbert.
Full PPR. I think Treylon Burks might rack up some receptions.
The argument
might not be a touchdown, might not be a long yardage game for him, but if he gets 8 receptions for 55, 60 yards in a full PPR league, you're still very happy with that.
Game script's in Herbert's favor. I mean, we're off David Montgomery, so might as well be on the other guy who we feel like is the better player and has pass catching upside. Packers should be winning this game. I like Herbert, man. We're split here. The argument in Burks' favor is both of them have game script in their favor. Burks has a huge opportunity as far as a target share in an unpredictable pass receiving game or receiver depth chart. But Herbert has a similar argument. Maybe not as big of a threat as far as PPR scoring goes, but I think it's fair to say we both prefer the talent in Herbert to the talent in Montgomery at this point.
Yes.
And I don't know if there's, I don't know how far behind the Bears are either from making that a reality, because we saw it come to fruition last week. I would go Herbert. John says Burks. I think we've both stated our cases. Gibson, Henderson, Dobbins are I think we're in lockstep on as 3 of your 4 options. And then hopefully, our dissertation, so to speak, on Burks and Herbert help you make a decision. But one of those 2, depending on what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Gabe, leave on the bench. Lazard is not even.
The thing is, he needs to start a wide receiver here, does he not? 3 wide receiver set. He started Tyreek. He needs to start Burks.
You would need to start
Lazard.
Yeah, but need 4 to start, and he included a bunch of running backs. I guess if you need to start 3 receivers, then I guess you have no choice with Burks and Lazard. And then if you can start 2 of the running backs, then I would go Gibson and Henderson.
Yes. Agreed.
Maybe, yeah, I guess if you have to start Lazard, oh God, who's on the wire? Lazard might not even play. Is
Landry on the wire?
Yeah.
Is Hines on the wire? I guess you can't start a
Yeah, is Landry on the
You
wire?
need
Is
wide receivers. Kyle Phillips on the wire.
Sure, Kyle
You
Phillips.
have Burks though, so maybe you don't want to go there. Is Russell
Sterling
Gage on the
Shepard.
wire? Did somebody drop him after week 1?
He's questionable. I would
Julio.
be worried about that one. But yeah.
Those are the guys
Who
I'm
else is
looking
out
at,
there?
and to just in case Lazard doesn't play.
Yeah, who else is out there? Let us know, Joe.
Yep.
I think we're down to Travis.
Yep. What's going on, Travis? Should you start
Travis.
Lazard or Hines in your flex, or should you wait it out with Gabe Davis?
Probably Hines. Probably Hines. I look. I know, and with Gabe Davis, guys, and I'm happy Hines was brought up. I mean, because that's a pretty significant. As much as we like Nyheim Hines, that's a pretty significant tier drop. If you want to roll the dice on Gabe Davis because he has wide receiver 1 upside, and if he's activated for Monday night, then great, awesome, he's in there. I would say Nyheim Hines is maybe the cutoff. That's kind of that right. I feel like that's maybe the Mendoza line.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. That's where the cutoff is as far as Hines is probably fine, but a Kenny Gainwell, a Rashad White. If I have Kenny Gainwell, then yeah, I guess I can wait until Monday night to make that call. Have a Monday night guy ready to go. Kyle Phillips, if it's anything worse than Nyheim Hines, if it's anything Nyheim Hines and up as far as expectations go, I would fire that person up over Gabe. Yeah, I would fire that person up over Gabe. I do not like if he goes for 100 and a touchdown, great for Gabe. I hate these late injuries, man. On these late adds to the injury report, it is dicey. It is incredibly dicey. And so, if you don't want to roll the dice on that significant of a teardrop, go. There's 2 games on Monday night this week. Go pick somebody up who's playing in that game. Kenny Gainwell's not picked up, but Kyle is not on waivers, but Phillips is. Burks might be. Isaiah McKenzie might be. Jamison Crowder might be. So just have a Monday night option ready to go just in case.
Agreed.
But I would go Hines. That is probably the cutoff for me. I know it hurts, but I would go Hines.
D. Linney. Hassan Haskins may get reps this week. We're at the stash. He had 1,300 and something yards and 21 touchdowns last year at Michigan. He will get reps this week. He's not somebody that I'm looking at starting at all. He's not really even somebody I'm looking at. Is he worth the stash? Yeah. I think if anything happens to Derrick Henry, it turns into a 3-headed monster when Dontrell Hilliard comes back. At which point, it's kind of a 3-headed monster on which isn't a very high-powered offense. So the upside in terms of handcuffing, there are handcuffs that I think have higher value. But he's not a bad stash by any means.
Yeah.
There just are better stashes. Senor Rojo, is this not Rojo Fish?
Is it Rojo's dad?
What? what's happening, man? So here's your dilemma. PPR wide receivers are Lamb, Renfro, Allen Robinson, Hopkins, Bob Trees, Jameson Williams. Somebody drop Keenan Allen. If I tank this week, you'll have the first waiver spot. To tank or not to tank?
Never tank.
Don't tank.
In redraft, never tank.
I don't understand why you're playing in a league where anybody would drop Keenan Allen. Allen. There should be rules against that. I know in Yahoo there's a don't drop list. He would be on that. So that's
I don't know how that's.
I don't know how.
That's wild. That's crazy.
I wouldn't tank for him if you lose this week. Then you'll have the number 1 waiver spot, right?
Right. You can still go always play for the win early in the season. Don't put yourself behind the.
And look, your team might just. Your team right now, it sucks, but having to roll out Lamb, having to roll out Allen Robinson, and Renfro is probably your best bet at wide receiver right now. You're kind of tanking right now. I hate to say it like that, but your team right now,
the wide
it's not that Lamb is bad. It just the outlook doesn't look good for him for the next 6 weeks.
For the back
You don't get Hopkins back, so you can't benefit from his being a wide receiver 1 when he plays. Allen Robinson looks like a low-end wide receiver 3. So he
has Burks. He has Treylon Burks. You might want
to you're kind of tanking right now. So chances are you might have a good spot at Keenan Allen regardless, but always try to win.
Yeah, always go for the win. Maybe CD gets hyper-targeted by a backup quarterback. Who knows? It's hard to feel good about Allen Robinson right now. It really is.
Yeah.
And then Renfro, I mean, I think I would play Burks over Renfro. You said you have Treylon Burks. I guess I would play Burks over Renfro. I would do that.
But honestly, like if I needed to drop somebody, I'd drop Bobby Trees for him right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Depending on who else you have.
But go for the win. Go for the win, especially if you're 0-1. Yep. Don't start yourself off 0-2. But also, it's kind of crazy. This might be a super shallow league if Keenan Allen's getting dropped, or if there's no IR spots. You need IR spots, especially if you're stashing somebody like Jameson Williams. Talk to your commish. That's weird that Keenan Allen is even available to begin with.
Yeah, it is.
Shouldn't happen.
Never seen that in all my days. Victor Munoz can't decide between the opportunity or playing it safe. Both our matchups are close, but I do favor the Bucs. However, I don't see Julio staying on the field.
If you don't believe in Julio staying on the field, was
Bateman.
This Julio or Chark?
I think it's Julio or Bateman.
Oh no!
To me, it's a talent thing, man. To me, it's a talent thing. It's not even opportunity and playing it safe and all that. Bateman has the talent right now. He has the age right now. He's in a better He's not in a better offense, but a very good offense in his own right.
He's not hurt.
And
he's healthy.
Devin Duvernay isn't going to be scoring 2 touchdowns on 4 targets in every single game. They're going to pass more than they had to in that game as well. That passing attack will have better days. And it was a couple of routes going a couple of different ways. It's Rashad Bateman walking out of the game with 2 touchdowns. That can absolutely happen this week.
It's Bateman. It's not a question. It's Bateman.
Yep. Kyle Singer, what's happening, man? Hunt over Montgomery and Julio over Lockett, full PPR.
Yes.
Julio over Lockett, Hunt over Montgomery.
Yes, both.
Very close, but I think I'm going Hunt. Yep.
Not close for me. Montgomery might stink. Might just stink. Kareem Hunt doesn't stink.
It's the offense that does it for me. The Cleveland offense, even the fact that Cleveland's offense is that much better than Montgomery's is a lot to be said about the Bears in that discussion there. But, I mean, to me, it's Hunt.
Kareem Hunt, yep. And Julio as long as he plays. Be prepared to pivot. If Julio has to miss the game, I would look for another option over Lockett as well.
Yes.
It's hard to trust. I love Lockett, but it's hard to trust him right now. It's just
but I like the rest of your roster. Good squad.
Yeah, it looks good.
Dylan McKee, Burkhead, Hall, or Robbie Anderson at the flex. Breece Hall, man.
Breece Hall, man. Saw the most running back targets last week. Should see more on the road against Cleveland, which should be a tough matchup for the Jets as far as running the ball, having success running the ball. Breece is going to catch passes. I would not. Robbie Anderson, shout out to Robbie. He always seems to have big weeks early in the season. I'm not chasing that just yet. No. Give me Breece.
Nah, Breece's role should only grow from here, and he was heavily involved in the pass game last week.
Yeah.
He was kind of had a mini Javonte game compared to what Javonte did last week. So
yeah. Breece.
And Gouda, what's happening, man? We just traded for Saquon too, so respect. But you just traded for Saquon Frymouth and Ramondre Stevenson, or traded away Saquon Frymouth and Ramondre Stevenson for CMC and Pitts, and you picked up Kenneth Walker.
Nice.
Waivers, rate the trade.
I'm good with that. I'm big time good with that. Because Saquon's off to a much hotter start than Christian McCaffrey, no doubt. But
CMC had a floor week last week, and it was still 13 points.
And so you basically traded Freiermuth and Ramondre for Pitts? I know that Pitts had a quiet week last week, and Freiermuth had a decent game.
And you picked up Kenneth Walker, bro. Good job.
I love that. I know
8 team, but so
I know it's 8 teams, so you're gonna loaded rosters. It's loaded rosters, but then get the high end options. Trade the depth for the high end options in these super shallow leagues. Yeah, nicely done.
Zav Slays, you're very welcome.
Yeah,
thanks for coming
in.
D. Lenny, Senior Rojo, all in on Keenan and waiver priority.
He said to do the
fair.
Then he's potentially sacrificing trying to win.
Yeah, and I think you might have a good chance to
fob. If he had fob, he wouldn't have to tank. There's no fob. It's just straight waivers.
Yeah. No, I think there's a good chance you still get Keenan Allen with unfortunately the wide receivers that you're gonna have to roll out this week.
But try to win.
Try to win, but there's still a good chance that you can pick best of both worlds. Try to win, lose, pick up Keenan Allen, win-win. Jason G, hey, you're welcome, man. Thanks for chilling with us again. Yeah, 10 a.m. EST. On Sundays, 6 o'clock p.m. EST on Saturdays, every Saturday, and every Tuesday.
Yep.
So, yeah, before waivers, before the games tonight, and before kickoff tomorrow. But thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks for coming in.
And Patrick, don't even worry about it, man.
No, you're good. You're good. Don't worry about it.
Deshaun, what's happening, man? Start 2, PPR, Mike Evans, Mike Thomas, DJ Moore.
If Evans is active, you got to fire up Evans.
And then to me, it's Michael Thomas.
Between him and DJ Moore?
I think so, man.
Better quarterback play at home. Yeah. You have the luxury of all of these guys playing in the early window. So you'll know who you have to pivot to in the event of guys getting ruled out.
Yeah.
I know Mike Evans feels dicey, man, because he's had hamstring injuries, and this could be
He's had hamstring injuries and still scored 2 touchdowns on 3 receptions.
You worry about the potential where, he exits the game early and doesn't return or something like that.
Yeah.
If Evans is active, if Evans is pulled off the injury report, you have to fire him up. You have to go with him. Michael Thomas, it's just better offense, better quarterback. Better opportunity, playing at home in the dome.
Yeah. Mike Evans, Michael Thomas, and if you have to swerve and not play Mike Evans, DJ Moore is a very good person to swerve to.
Perfectly good pivot. Yep. Perfectly good pivot, but he should be your pivot, not your starter.
Yeah, D. Lenny with the Hines stat was 6 for 6 for 50 yards in week 1.
There you go.
Pittman and Pierce out this week, who had a collective 15 targets week 1.
Appreciate it, D.
Hines is going to have a big week. Where else are you
going to find this type of information, people?
Yeah.
This is why we like these streams. We find good people, or good people find us, and then they give us good information.
We learn stuff. You learn stuff.
Yeah. Everybody wins.
Yep.
Appreciate the look.
The Joker, what's happening, man?
What's up, Joker?
Who to start at running back and the flex position? Jeff Wilson, David Montgomery, Rashad Penny, Chase Claypool. So far, I have Monty and Jeff Wilson in those slots. 16-team league.
Wilson, I'm fine with leaving in there. He's in the most favorable spot.
Honestly, I'm playing Montgomery.
I'm playing Penny. I don't believe in David Montgomery, and I know they're both in similar situations. And Penny, potentially gets a decrease in opportunities with Walker coming back. But I'm just, and both not great offenses. I'm just not crazy about Montgomery, man.
I mean, yeah, he had a bad week to start week 1, but it was just a weird week altogether. And in the 2 years prior to that game, he was the RB6 in fantasy points per game in 2020 and the RB12 in fantasy points per game in 2021. He's not that bad, and his role really isn't going to change that much so early in the year. I think he's still the guy that they want to be their workhorse, because they're slow on the pickup for slower than they should be on the pickup for Khalil Herbert. And I think he got 17 rush attempts last game and caught 3 receptions. That's 20 touches is not something you should be straying away from, especially for somebody who is getting a running mate back in the backfield with Kenneth Walker this game, and is playing against a top 5 front 7 in the NFL in San Fran. Like I don't like David Montgomery. Just as like I'm not a huge fan of his. From a fantasy standpoint, but I think he has his high floor, low ceiling, but high floor puts him ahead of any of these guys because a lot of these guys have much lower floors and their ceilings are pretty close to David Montgomery's for week 2. So I'm fine with Jeff Wilson and David Montgomery.
I'm playing Penny over Montgomery personally, so we disagree here on your second. I agree on Jeff Wilson, fire him up, but we are not on the same page as far as your flex option. I would argue in Penny's favor that Walker gets eased back into action despite his return. It's another potentially poor weather game in San Francisco. There's more rain expected, not to the extent of what the 49ers dealt with in Chicago, but more rain probably means more runs. And also, Joker, hear me out on this. This is a little like chess play that may or may not matter, but it's always intriguing. Wilson and Penny play in the same game. So like you're increasing the potential for some like direct correlation there. Like one guy, you know, if a guy does well on one side, it might naturally bring the other guy along with him with your other play.
I think that correlation is more for wide receivers than it is for two.
It is for wide receivers and running backs, but Penny's a pretty explosive player to his credit when he's healthy. Not a great situation, right? Neither guy is in a great opportunity, in a great spot. Both are on the road, division opponents, tough matchups. I think I would go with the guy who I guess feel a little bit better about, and that's Penny. So we are not on the same page, but hopefully the dissertations help you make a decision. If you're in on Montgomery, go Montgomery. If you're intrigued by Penny, go Penny. But definitely keep Wilson in there.
I'm going David Montgomery there. But not a bad swerve option if you do want to go the other way. Clap nuts, what's happening, man?
Clap nuts.
Clap nuts. What would I get for trading my Brady and Evans stack? I don't think this is the time to trade your Brady and Evans stack. I think the time to trade Brady and Evans is when Evans is 100% healthy. Yeah. Coming off a big game and a game where Brady maybe has all of his weapons back and looks like old Brady. I don't think right now is the time to be trading Brady and Evans. Now, what can you get? Depends on the format. Superflex, 1 QB, PPR, standard.
What does your team need? Like, where could you afford to upgrade?
Yeah.
You know?
Riley
Lots
VIP.
of different questions to ask. What's up, Riley?
Hines or Pollard PPR? Hines. Gabe Davis replacement. Yeah, that team is much better than the other guys. All right.
If your team is better, go
Hines.
Hines. Safer situation.
Look at that D. Linney stat, just a few chats above yours.
Yeah, he's gonna get some work. He's gonna get some work.
Shout out to D. Linney again for that stat.
Yeah.
Patrick, you went 0 running back in the draft. You got depth,
bro.
but you're wondering who are the best running backs to stash in case I need them later in the year. Jason, Mason, Rashad White, Jalen Warren, Kenneth Walker, Tyler Algiers, James Cook, part 1. And then we got a part 2. And we'll get to that part 2 in a second. That's a different question.
Yeah, different question. Rashad White and Kenneth Walker for me.
Kenneth Walker has like the clearest path to a starting role.
Mm-hmm.
The best running backs to stash, yeah. I mean, Rashad White will be the RB1 should Leonard Fournette get injured, and he is 27, so that's something to think about there. Mason is enticing, but he has an 8-game leash. Like Elijah Mitchell is coming back in 2 months, so that is a large part of the season. But by week 10, whoever owns the backfield from now until then is gonna get put back into a little bit of a box. So opportunity-wise, at least. So yeah, for me it'd be Kenneth Walker and Rashad White, and then Jalen Warren,
and then Warren, yeah,
and then Cook, and then Mason and Algiers are in there. And it's really if Elijah Mitchell's injury was all season, then it'd clearly be Mason, and Mason would jump a few spots here. But it's not. So that's something you got to take into account with Mason. It is an 8-week Band-Aid. Theoretically. At this point in time, at least.
Yeah.
John Hernandez Gleaton, what's happening? So if you're going to trade Eckler, what do you think you should target 10-man half PPR? Again, man, it depends on your team and where your deficiencies will lie. If you're deficient at tight end and you want to upgrade your tight end and you can trade Eckler and Landon Andrews or something like that, then go that way. If you can trade Eckler and Landon and A.J. Brown right now and your wide receivers are bad, then go that way. But it really depends on your team when you're asking these, what can I get for a certain player type questions.
Right. What do you need? How does how does what you potentially get make your team better? There are, and this is for anybody. There are layers and layers to questions as far as like, okay, if I trade this guy, what should I get? What does your team need? Maybe you should just keep Eckler, right? Like, who's your RB2? If it's David Montgomery, if it's Josh Jacobs, if it's Antonio Gibson, I'm not trading Eckler. Probably not for anything. Because you're not getting Taylor and you're not getting McCaffrey.
Right.
And he was the only guys that maybe Derrick Henry, maybe Dalvin Cook, he was the only guys that you were drafting ahead of him. So, do you have Joe Mixon? Like, all right, then I guess Eckler's a little bit more expendable for some wide receiver help. How does your team get better? Remember, it's not about winning a trade. It's about making your team better. And if trading Eckler makes your team better, then by all means go for it. If you're getting a wide receiver 2 and a running back 2, you may not have gotten better.
Unless you really drafted poorly or caught some bad luck and you were saddled with, Akers and Allen Robinson and a bunch of other guys that dudded week 1 and you had Dak and all these other things, then you got to make some moves. But if you don't have to make any moves, sometimes the best option is to just stay pat with Eckler. Because again, you are selling low right now on Eckler too, based off of what he's done in the past 2 weeks. So there will be better days for Eckler, even though he should have smashed in a game without Keenan Allen. I would just wait, honestly. But if you want a little bit more clarification on that, put your team in, and we can have a larger discussion about it.
Yeah.
Jesse's on Freud. What's happening? Fournette or Swift rest of season?
Swift.
It's tough, man. But I gotta say Swift because Fournette feels more like an injury risk. Just because he's older.
Swift is just also more the explosive player. Swift. Great offensive line. Fournette's dealing with a bad one. Swift.
Yeah. Joe Harris, you would need one more wide receiver after starting Burks available on the wire. Okay. Is Shepard, AJ Green, all the Packers wide receivers, Osborne, Marvin Jones, Greg Dortch, Noah Brown, Kyle Phillips, Jamison Crowder. It's ugly.
This might sound nuts, but Sterling Shepard is not a zero. Wan'Dale Robinson is out. Kadarius Toney is questionable. Somebody else is out.
Now, if Lazard isn't going and all the other Packers are on the wire, would you entertain then any of the Packers over any of these other options?
I guess Christian Watson, not Romeo Doubs. But we're not going to know that until Sunday night. So I guess in that regard, I guess you could pick up Phillips because then you could pivot to Monday night. Or Osborne, but I love Osborne, but let's wait a week on him. I guess if you want to wait on Lazard, which I would not advise doing, but if you want to wait on Lazard, then pick up Phillips, and then if Lazard is out, you can pivot to Monday night.
But I think Joe Harris, aren't you playing Treylon Burks as well?
Yeah, he's playing Burks as well. So maybe. So
you'd be playing Burks and Phillips. Honestly, man, I would go
Shepard.
with. I would go
Sterling Shepard.
I would go with Sterling Shepard. If you want to wait on Lazard, then I would go Christian Watson.
Fine. But I think I would go Shepard. Give me the vet. Wandale's out. Kadarius is injured.
Yeah.
I think he's going to play, but he's hurt. Sterling Shepard.
Yep. And Patrick, part 2, or do you think I should stay put where I'm at with it? Yes. Well.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
No. Yeah. I wouldn't drop any of those guys.
No.
I wouldn't drop any of those dudes. Nicely done with the zero RB approach.
No, I wouldn't. No, not for any. Yeah. Okay. Not for any of the guys you listed. No,
I
like those guys. They're on the wire, but.
Right, but I'm not dropping.
I guess first man up would be Kenneth Walker, but I'm not dropping any of the guys that I have for him. Not at this juncture.
No. Nope.
Pratham, what's happening? Do you start Najee Harris or Chase Edmonds or Rashad Penny PPR league? I mean, you start Najee Harris.
It has to be Najee. You drafted him in the first round.
Yeah.
You have to if he's healthy and off the injury report and ready to go. I like Chase Edmonds this week, but you drafted Najee near the 1-2 turn. You have to start Najee. I know it's gross.
And Trey S, you sit Allen Robinson.
Oh yeah, that's
easy.
Yeah, start Judy, start Michael Thomas. Those are both great options to have that allow you specifically to wait 1 week on Allen Robinson and see if he can course correct. Yes, sit Allen Robinson.
And Rojo, yeah, that's crazy. I'm surprised that that owner didn't complain that maybe something happened to him or accident drop. That's weird.
Oh wow. Okay, 14.
That's weird,
man. That's fishy. I would text the commission. Unless you
like is there some weird collusion going on there? Like honestly,
yeah. What's going on there? I would look into that. Seems fishy. Don't like it.
Miles Gamer, what's happening? PPR start DJ Moore or Marquise Brown this week. Also, thoughts on Najee Harris rest of season. Well, to your first question, I think Marquise Brown has a better week this week. I'm not sure DJ Moore does. I think DJ Moore has a little bit better week this week. I don't know if it's a boom week for DJ Moore. Yeah. I think Marquise Brown has a complete get-right game. To that point about the quote earlier on, Kyler Murray quote, top 10 wide receivers deserve 10 targets a game. Marquise Brown is going to get that. There's going to be a get right for the Cardinals game, or for the Cardinals. So, yeah, Marquise Brown.
I got a fun little thing for everybody who might still be in here who had a question about Gabe Davis.
What's up?
This is from Edwin Porras, who I've called out numerous times, medical injury analyst for fantasypoints.com. Awesome at what he does. Little tweet here. Late week injury, Gabe Davis versus data from last season. Last year, there were 26 pass catchers, so combined wide receivers and tight ends, 26 of them, who were listed as limited practice Friday or Saturday after not being on the injury report. Of those 26, 22 ended up being active. So that's an overwhelming majority. Now, obviously, every situation is different, but that's an overwhelming majority of players in Gabe Davis's current situation who do suit up. Now, their notable finishes for the week. DK Metcalf, this happened last year, wide receiver 27. Not good. Michael Pittman had a week where this happened to him. Wide receiver 13, just missed being a wide receiver 1. Cortland Sutton had a week where he had this happen to him. Wide receiver 10. Darnell Mooney, wide receiver 5. So 2 wide receiver 1 finishes and 1 that just missed. Valdez Scantling, wide receiver 67.
Tier break in the wide receiver.
Tier break. Though. Sterling Shepard, wide receiver 78. Tier break. Kadarius Toney, wide receiver 67. Mike Evans, wide receiver 22. So low end wide receiver 2. Ertz was the tight end 9 in one such instance. So he was a low end tight end 1. So.
And considering Gabe makes the most of his money really right now in terms of what he does on the field, and down the field for touchdowns.
Yeah.
or in the red zone, I think he's more safer. He's safer than other wide receivers. Because
just something
we know,
to consider.
It's just he's gonna fall into the end zone for a touchdown. That's all he needs to do.
Just something to consider.
In his last 44 receptions, I think he has like 12 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Just caught another one.
Boom.
So, hopefully that helps. And then, so we said Hollywood for Miles Gamer, right?
And then thoughts on Najee rest of season. You just got to be careful and roster Jalen Warren.
We
were
Go
not super high on Najee Harris coming in.
Yeah.
There were other options that we liked better. We were advocating him for kind of staying away from him for probably the last 3 weeks to month of the off season. He is a very good running back when healthy, but coming off a 400 touch workload last year and really not being super efficient and playing behind one of the worst O-lines in the league hampers him.
Yeah.
And this team won't be in the red zone a whole lot because Mitchell Trubisky isn't a quarterback to get him there. While they do have the talent on the others on the offensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
just go get Jalen Warren.
Yeah.
Protect yourself.
And Kyle and Dylan, you are very welcome. Thanks to you guys for chilling with us. I agree. Trade question. Was Olave, Melvin Gordon, and Dawson Knox for Waller and Ayuk a good trade? You got Ayuk and Waller. I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Who
are your running backs now?
Yeah, you got rid of Melvin Gordon, who's like an RB3.
You got an upgrade at wide receiver and tight end. But who are your running backs now?
Yeah, you got big upgrades, or sizable upgrades at wide receiver and tight end, so that's good. Yeah, I like the move. As long as you have at least one anchor to hang your hat on at running back, with maybe some options on your bench to turn to on a week-to-week basis at worst. Yeah, I'm good with it. Nicely done. Yep.
And Victor, we appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Travis, what's the percentage T. Higgins plays? I don't know, actually. But if he plays, you play him.
Yeah, right.
He's the type of guy where if he's playing, you're playing him. If you're not, then, yeah, you got to swerve. But you're not playing the 3D chess with somebody sitting T. Higgins who's playing.
T. Higgins off a concussion or Rashad Bateman?
T. Higgins.
Okay.
And that's the right answer.
Yeah, I mean, and they play in the late window, so Travis, just have somebody in the 4:00 window ready to go.
Yep.
Or later.
And Le'Veon Bell is in the chat with a question.
Hey, Le'Veon.
Should I play Michael Carter over Allen Robinson? I mean, yeah.
Man. You would put Carter on the road against the Browns? Oof.
I mean, with the workload that he got last week, yeah. I think I do. Over Allen Robinson.
I think he caught 6 or 7 passes.
Yeah.
Again.
Yep.
What did he do on the ground?
I think he had 60 yards.
Tough on the road against the or no, they were at home. Excuse me, they were at home, but it's still against the Ravens. Baltimore is notorious year in, year out. They have a good defense.
Yeah, at 13 fantasy points last week. I'm running him back again with them again.
Damn. Yeah, Carter.
9 targets. Yeah, man.
How the mighty have fallen with Allen Robinson. Yeah. I guess there's a little bit more upside with him. I don't like this matchup. It's tough on the road.
No,
it could be
I'm with you there.
But
Michael Carter.
Maybe he catches some passes. Maybe he catches some quick dump offs. Playing with Joe Flacco.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Carter over Allen Robinson. Wow. Yeah, that's where we're at. That's where we're at with Allen Robinson.
And Silas, CD Lamb, or AJ Dillon in my flex spot full PPR. AJ Dillon, man.
Dylan, Silas.
Keep rolling him out there, man.
Yeah. CD's in a worst case
scenario. And Rojo
agrees.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Dylan, baby. At home. Should be the Packers should have this game taken care of in the third quarter, or at least the fourth quarter. Dylan.
Yep.
Dylan's not dealing with a big quarterback downgrade the way CD is.
Absolutely.
Dylan.
And Rojo, I don't know if you caught what Nick just said about the quote that he grabbed from Twitter. Are we worried about Bay Davis? We're cautious.
I'm worried.
And we're
I am
preparing.
worried about him.
We're preparing for him not to be in our lineups, but it's probably 50-50. But if he's out there, I'm playing him.
Right, but also like I have a league where I attack wide receiver pretty hard, and I have Brandon Cooks that I can pivot to.
Oh yeah, you're pivoting.
I have to go. I was gonna play Gabe. I'm pretty like I have to play Cooks unless I get if I get a miraculous update in the next 17 hours. Actually, I have a little bit more than that because Cooks plays in the afternoon window, the late afternoon window. If Gabe's feeling better, looking good for Monday night. Okay, fine. I will roll the dice on Gabe because I also have Kenny Gainwell that I could swerve to in a terrible last minute situation. But if I get nothing between now and the 125 kickoffs or the 425 kickoffs, excuse me, I'm going Cooks because he's healthy.
Yeah. And I just want to say shout out to everybody who threw us a like on the vid. 30 likes. We're appreciative. Very much so.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to continue to work our way through this chat here.
And we will be live 10 a.m. tomorrow, EST. Yep. So 3 hours before kickoff. We're going right up till kickoff. So 3 hours before then till you start hearing that red zone music.
You already know.
Yeah, we'll be here answering questions for you. So if you have any more questions that we didn't answer to your satisfaction, or any more that come up over the course of the next 12 hours, come through the live stream tomorrow morning, and we will answer your questions there too.
Just got a couple more likes. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
Thanks for coming in and hanging out this evening.
D. Lenny. If you hit on a San Fran running back stud, ride them for 2 to 3 weeks, and then package trade them for a wide receiver running back stud. Yeah, you can absolutely do that. You can absolutely do that.
Year with Elijah Mitchell.
Yep. Worked out real well. I got Eckler.
Packaged Mitchell and something. Okay, yeah.
No, Mitchell was I must have packaged him with something. I don't remember. But Mitchell was a keeper, and Eckler was not, so.
Yeah, you see those types of trades in a keeper league.
Yep. And Trey S, one more for y'all. It doesn't have to be one. You can throw any more in the chat that you have. But full PPR start 2, Allen Robinson, ETN, Michael Thomas, or Kareem Hunt. ETN or Hunt, or Thomas, I think.
I was going to say the last two. I like
Thomas
ETN.
or Hunt? Okay.
Start 2. I would say the last 2. I would start Thomas and Hunt. I like
Thomas
ETN.
I'm going Thomas and ETN. I think the offense will be better.
Offense should be better.
Maybe the roles switch for James Robinson and him, and he's the one that ends the game with the touchdown.
I think Michael Thomas in full PPR makes a lot of sense. And then, do you want to ride the wave that Kareem Hunt built week 1 at home against the Jets? Should be a favorable spot for him. Or do you roll the dice on ETN, who should have had a bigger day? They just didn't quite connect. Missed on a couple of opportunities.
It's a pass-catching weapon.
Yeah, well, so's Hunt.
Yeah, you drafted him earlier. It is only week 2. I'm still start my studs territory. Earlier. So, Thomas and ETN for me. But I can see why you would go Hunt. I like Hunt as well.
I mean, James Robinson is much farther along than I could have ever anticipated.
Yeah, anybody was.
Yeah.
D. Lenny, Shepard, Dortch, or Watson?
Yeah, Shepard. I think you should. Shepard's got an interesting stat. Like when he plays, he averages like at least 60 yards receiving. Like
he has always had good rapport with Daniel Jones. He's been. Yeah. I'll give him that. He's always injured, but when he plays, he seemingly is always a PPR option for Daniel Jones.
Yep. Yeah, Shepard in that over Lazard, even if Lazard is active.
And John Hernandez Gleaton. My bad, you have Eckler starting with Herbert. Both Green Bay running backs on my RB2 and flex, but my other starters are Gabe, Deontay, Kelsey. On my bench, I have Darrell, Bateman, DK, Duvernay, Alberto, and Wentz. 10-man have PPR. Was just looking for potential trade suggestions to package with Eckler. Got you. You considered Najee, Tyreek, for Deontay, and Eckler.
Okay. Oh, you saw.
Okay.
Thanks. Well, thanks for
Yeah,
subbing.
much appreciated, man. Much appreciated.
So you're good because you have Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. That's fine. Hang on to Wentz because Herbert picked up that rib injury on Thursday, and you lost Gabe. Well, you haven't lost Gabe yet, but Gabe got slapped with the questionable tag, so that's a little dicey.
Honestly,
is that Darrell
bro,
Williams?
I think you. Yeah, no, I think it's Darrell Henderson.
It's Henderson.
That's the only reason you would have him over Bateman and DK, and when you're listing them off. But I think I would like. I get why you maybe want to move off of Eckler or package Eckler for something else, but
you have Herbert. You have the stat. You have that.
Yeah, and you're selling low on Eckler.
Yeah,
because he hasn't had a great first 2 games. So I think you hold Eckler. And if you really want to sell Eckler, you sell him after a 30-point game. But again, if you're having 30-point games with Eckler and Herbert's your quarterback, you probably want to just stay pat there too because correlation, the stack. I think you stay pat, man. I like your squad.
Stay where you're at. Yep, squad looks good. I would stay right where you're at. I would fire Bateman
you can
up
swerve
over
from
Gabe.
Gabe Davis. Yeah,
I would fire up Bateman over Gabe as long as we don't hear
Bateman
anything.
is a great start.
Yeah. If we don't get any new updates from Gabe before the 1 o'clock window, I would fire up Gabe and Deontay. Bateman and Deontay.
Yep.
And I would hang on to Wentz because you have Herbert. If you have Kelsey, drop Alberto. You can drop Alberto.
Yeah, that's true.
For literally anything. Wide receiver depth, running back depth, I don't care. You can drop Alberto. You're never going to play Alberto over Kelsey. Worry about the bye week.
You're
when
never
going to
play Duvernay either, but
Duvernay's wide receiver depth. I'm fine with that. Kelsey is there's one tight end spot, and you have the best guy in the game.
Yeah.
Drop Alberto for anything.
Yep.
But yeah, it looks good otherwise.
Very good.
Don't trade for Najee. The Liz Frank injury is.
That would be a step back.
Yeah,
you would have to pick up Najee plus. So.
And I don't want to do that.
Yeah, me neither. And hey, D. Linney.
Yeah, he says Hunt.
Got you. Okay.
He says Hunt. I say Hunt, man. I do over ETN. I might have been wrong about James Robinson as far as like being worried about him to start the season. Man, Kareem Hunt's the name, the proven commodity, the proven guy. We like ETN, but we like ETN in theory. We haven't seen him do it yet. We've seen Thomas and Hunt do it. Well, we've seen Allen Robinson do it too, but he's been burnt toast for over a year now. So give me Michael Thomas, give me Kareem Hunt. John, you might still want to go with Travis Etienne. We're split we're split there. But Trey, at the end of the day, go with your gut. We can offer advice. We are not, only you can pull the trigger.
Neither are bad options. I'm still going ETN. Like Hunt, you just drafted ETN earlier.
Yeah, you traded him a lot higher.
The competition in the backfield. You're talking about James Robinson. The other guy in the question has Nick Chubb as his offensive partner. So backfield partner. So in terms of, and I know the roles are clearly defined, and Nick Chubb isn't going to be catching any passes, but he's going to run for 140 yards, and then Kareem Hunt seemingly gets all the touchdowns and the receptions out of the duo. But and very good thing to have, very good decision to have to make. But ETN should be the 1A sooner than later. And he got the high leverage, the targets and the rushes and the high leverage situations. It just did not pan out week 1.
Yeah.
And I think it might week 2. And Trey and Miles, you are very welcome. Adam Salome, what's happening?
What's up, Adam?
Tough question. Well, your quarterbacks don't factor into full PPR, but still good to know.
Cousins, better weapons.
Better weapons, but this should be another smash week for Wentz.
Yeah, it should be. I'll go with a little bit more stability in Cousins, throwing to Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Like Wentz is enticing on the road in the dome, controlled environment, right? You like dome.
But Cousins is going to have to air it out against the Eagles.
Cousins is going to have to throw against the Eagles. And with Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen,
KJ Osborne. Irv Smith, who they said his
Yeah.
role was going to stay small, which was interesting.
Gross.
Yeah.
I would play Cousins. Wentz maybe has a little bit more upside, but Cousins is about as rock solid as a QB2 option as it gets. I would lean Cousins.
And Patrick, that is a very good draft, man. Smart thinking. Jefferson, Diggs, AJ Brown, Pitts, Hurts.
Yeah, that's
and then waiting and getting CEH, Gibson, Edmonds. Yeah, look at that.
That's
See how waiting on running back worked out for you? Very good job, man.
This is why you play zero RB or hero RB. Look at the squad.
Randy Miller, A-Rob, Carter, or Thielen, full PPR. Thielen.
Yeah, I know Thielen had a quiet week last week, but he's still, he's still a big time touchdown scoring threat and a veteran. Robinson is hard to trust. Carter's interesting, but it's another tough matchup this time on the road. There could be more points scored in the Vikings-Eagles game. I'll say Thielen, especially in full PPR.
Yep.
I'll say Thielen. He was quiet last week, but I don't expect that to continue every single week.
And you switched to running backs earlier than a traditional zero RB because you had faith in Jalen Hurts. Yeah, AJ Brown stack. Yeah, I would too. Fine. Look at how they did week 1. Great stack to have this year.
And Dylan's an RB1. So, and Clyde and Gibson are firing early.
Very good running back core you got there.
Nicely done.
Is Higgins and Michael Carter for Kelsey a good trade? I want Kelsey since my quarterback is Mahomes. Other wide receivers are Thielen, A-Rob, and Mike Evans, and D-Hop.
I mean, if you can make it happen, then do it.
Yeah.
I would do it. Yeah, I like Kelsey. I like having Kelsey.
He's a big difference maker on your squad if you can get him.
Yeah. If you can make it happen, do it. I love T. Higgins, but if I can turn him plus, I like Michael Carter, but he's kind of more situational for, turn that into the best tight end in the game. Yeah. And you have Mahomes. Yeah, man. If you can make it happen, do it. I got no problem with that.
And Patrick, hey, much appreciated, man. Love to have you here. And yeah man, it's just a fun place to come and talk fantasy. That is what this is. We don't shit on takes. We don't demean people for their suggestions or whatever. It's all about just having fun with fantasy. So
having fun,
appreciate it, man. Glad to have you along for the ride.
Make the right call. Yep.
Yep.
Appreciate all the new faces. Obviously, all the returning faces, but any new faces who have found us and hopefully have liked what you guys have heard and seen. That's the goal.
And again, streaming Tuesday, 6 p.m. EST, Saturday, 6 p.m. EST, Sunday, 10 a.m. EST, and we do have 2 members-only streams on Wednesday and Thursday every week. So that is an added bonus for you guys if you want. And if you want access to that, our first members-only tier is 99 cents a month. So for less than $1 a month, you can get 8 extra streams a month with us, where you get pretty much, there's no competition for your questions.
Much less.
Sometimes, on the Sunday morning streams, you're competing with 35, 40 other people, and we want to get to every question in time, but we can't. So if you want more access to us to be able to answer all your questions and everything weekly throughout the fantasy season, the 99 cents option for you in terms of what our members offering might be something you want to check out. But Adam, yeah, man, let me rate your squad here. Or let us rate your squad here. Carson Wentz, Kirk Cousins, running backs Joe Mixon, Saquon Barkley, James Conner, Michael Carter, very good. Wide receivers Diggs, Pittman, Lamb, and Judy. Good.
Love it.
High upside. Very good. Tight end Waller and Everett. Nice. Oh man.
And just to piggyback,
this looks like a team that either one of us could have drafted.
Yeah.
It's a very good
as
squad.
Far as Cousins, I hear you. There has been a narrative with Cousins going full space cadet in primetime games. He hasn't been great. If you are concerned about that narrative, then play Wentz. I I tend to try to talk myself out of worrying about those types of things. If you're worried about it, then play Wentz. I would, every game is different. I would flush that history with Cousins personally and play Cousins. That's just me.
Yeah, he didn't even have to open it up last week, and he had 19 points.
So yeah, 19 fantasy points where he had to do
He didn't even have to open it up.
Nope. Probably going to have a little bit more competition this week on the road.
And for everything that Carson Wentz did, like he benefited from a rookie catching 2 touchdowns on 2 catches. Like, that's not going to happen every week too. So there might be some touchdown regression for Wentz, who did pass for 2 interceptions as well. So if you have a league that discounts that, you gotta subtracts points for that. You gotta keep that into account. But yeah, I mean, no issues with Cousins this week, or just moving forward.
Yeah, I know there's a history with him on primetime games, but his weapons are just so much better.
Yeah.
I would play Cousins. I would. Yep. I would go Cousins. But I like the squad. Mixon and Barkley, that's great. And then still ended up with guys like Diggs, Pittman. I know Lamb's in the kind of
having Connor at RB3, and then like Everett at TE2.
Looking good.
Yeah, man.
Looking good.
Very good.
Yeah, I'm rolling with Cousins. I am rolling with Cousins. I am.
Me too. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, wins and losses, yeah. Does he fold sometimes in games a little bit in these higher profile Monday night games? Yes. But it does, like, for fantasy, like, that just means more garbage time. I think Kirk Cousins is a very good quarterback to play. We like his weapons a lot.
Yeah. And John Hernandez, real quick. Yes, drop Albert O if Mitchell was dropped. I don't know if you have IR spots, but if you can stash Elijah Mitchell at the expense of Albert O, yes. Absolutely. I'm not crazy about Elijah Mitchell, but I'm willing. That's a move I'm willing to make.
Tier break. That's an upgrade.
Yep. Hopefully you have an IR spot. Even if you don't, though, I would, at least for now in the interim. You're not going to play Alberto. You could conceivably play Elijah Mitchell 2.5 months from now.
And Patrick, you're streaming defenses. You got Cleveland, San Fran, the Colts, Miami, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Dallas are all available.
Wow. How are all of these available?
If you got Cleveland,
yeah, just play.
I don't think there's any issues just rolling with Cleveland.
Just play Cleveland.
Yeah, I think I would just roll with Cleveland.
Yeah, they're playing at home against the Jets and Joe Flacco. Just play Cleveland.
Yep. And yeah, D. Linney, that is surprising. But yeah, Cousins is going to have
He's been bad in primetime games. It is a thing. It is absolutely a trend. Kirk Cousins has had some weird stat lines and some terrible blow-up spots.
In badly run offenses, though.
Yeah, true.
Different offense for him in the game.
Different offense, different head coach, different narrative, different offensive scheme.
Yep. Silas Ratliff, AJ Dillon, or Cortland Sutton for my flex spot, full PPR. AJ Dillon, I'm sticking with it, man. You just had an RB1 week.
He's an RB1 at home against the Bears.
I like Cortland Sutton a lot, but in your flex spot, if you have a choice between Cortland Sutton and a guy who just finished us in RB1 and has a chance to pretty much the entire year, I'm going AJ Dillon. And Stephen X, who do you think is going to be better, DK or Brandon Cooks PPR? Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, DK might be the better talent, but Cooks, is Davis Mills a more reliable option than Geno Smith? I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so.
No, that's not even in question.
Him.
He's more pass happy, that's for sure.
Right, and he hyper targets Cooks to the tune of a 32% target share. Cooks has seen nearly a third of the Texans' targets, and
that is normal. That's what he's been. That's basically what he had last season. So
Cooks.
He's
volatile, but they're both volatile. So
I don't even think Cooks is volatile. I think he has a pretty safe floor. Does he go off absolutely every week? No, but I think he has a 10-point floor. in PPR.
Yeah.
With the target share that he's getting, I like Brandon Cooks a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cooks.
Alberto may see a couple more looks with Hamler ruled out. I mean, we saw that with Tim Patrick, and it might come to fruition, but I'm fine. Like, you have Kelsey. Like, you know.
Yeah, if you have Travis Kelsey, the Alberto is a drop.
Yeah.
Alberto's a drop.
And Sheldon, you need a replacement for Pittman. Your choices are Ayuk, Devontae Smith, or Devin Duvernay. Ayuk or Smith, and I think I would go Ayuk.
He can also pull Ramondre Stevenson out of one of his flex spots to play two of those receivers. He also likes your background music. Thanks, Sheldon.
Yeah, man.
I think I would go Ayuk and Devontae Smith and pull Ramondre Stevenson. The Patriots offense scares me, and then they're going on the road in Pittsburgh. I know they don't have TJ Watt, but that defense is good. I don't know. What do you think about Ramondre?
On one hand, all that is correct. On the other hand, no Ty Montgomery. They're gonna have to elevate like JJ Taylor, but I think all that receiving work will just go to Ramondre. Him and Damian Harris basically split work and both ended up with sub 10-point weeks last week. We don't expect this offense to get much better, especially in this game.
Yeah.
But are we expecting a ton from Devontae Smith to move a guy who should get you 10 points this week out of that spot? Like, it's not Devin Duvernay. I'm playing Ayuk. You could take Ramondre out of the flex and play Devonta Smith. That's the situation you're in, basically. Do you expect Devonta Smith to get some of that 10 targets that A.J. Brown got?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get shut out. I mean, yes, right, and that obviously, anything above a shutout doesn't necessarily mean a bounce back. But at home, against a good offense versus a running back on the road in what is a worse offense in a worse matchup in full PPR, I think I would roll the dice on Devontae Smith. I know AJ Brown did all of the things last week. You're not going to be able to do that. And AJ Brown is a stud, but he's not going for 8 for 150 every single week. You have to be able to correct or get other guys involved. I think I would go Devontae Smith over Ramondre, and I think I would play Ayuk and Devontae Smith.
I see the argument for it.
Ramondre's good, and I think he's got that pass catching role. It's just the Patriots offense. I just don't have that much faith in on the road against a really good defense, even without TJ Watt, even without their best player. That's
if it was against almost any other squad, I think I would just roll with Ramondre, but it is the Steelers. Even though they don't have TJ Watt, it's the Steelers they're going against. So I think I'd agree with you and your take there.
If we are helping confirm what you are feeling in your gut, then go with your gut. And I think I would go with Ayuk and Devontae Smith.
And Dan, start Drake London or Julio. That is the point. I think I'm going Julio if Mike Evans and maybe even Russell Gage are out. I think I'm going Julio.
If Mike Evans is out, then yes, Julio.
Yes.
But if Mike Evans is in, I would go London.
What did he do last week?
5 for 74. He had a good game against and saw some coverage from Lattimore. London had a nice game, and is probably going to see another similar game script where the Rams are winning that game. I might go London. Okay, if Julio's active and Mike Evans is out,
I'm going Julio. But
that's fine. That's fine. But if Evans is active forget Russell Gage. No disrespect to Russell Gage, but he doesn't factor in here for me. If Mike Evans is active, I'm playing London. So it hinges on Mike Evans' availability for me.
7 targets, 5 receptions, 74 yards.
Yeah, he had a good game.
Okay.
Against Lattimore. He had a good game.
All right. Yeah.
London's very intriguing rest of season.
And Sheldon, glad you like it, man. Spent a lot of time on it. Silas, what should you do with CD on your bench? I mean, yeah, or you could just wait it out until Dak comes back. But even then, like, we're expecting him to come back from a thumb injury. We hope they don't rush him. We saw what happened to Russell Wilson when he came back from, I think it was an index finger issue. So.
Yeah, or his middle finger.
Yeah, last year.
One of those two. Yeah.
So the thumb is more important for throwing the ball than your index finger.
And either one, it's rough.
Yeah. So keep that in mind too. But yeah, I mean, if you can stash him and sell him at some point, sell high when he comes back on the hype that Dak is coming back or something like that. Sure. I don't know what you're gonna get for him, but maybe there's a taker in your league.
Wait for now. Let's wait on this week. See what happens. Take it 1 week at a time. Let's see if and when we get another timeline update on as far as Dak's return. But wait for now. And just an FYI, sorry. We're coming to the end of the chat, so we are probably gonna wrap this up within the next few minutes here.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to say thanks everybody for the engagement, the questions, the contributions, the likes, all of that. We love doing this and hanging out with you guys. Like John has mentioned, like we've mentioned several times, we will be back 10 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, taking you up as close to the slate as we need to get your start-sit questions answered. And of course, if you want to keep the conversation going, or if you think of a question later after we sign off, you can join our Discord. Third link in the description of this video. It is an evergreen invite open to anybody.
Shout out Winston. Appreciate that. Nick is much more active in the Discord than I am, but I'm trying to be more active this now that we're in season, especially last week since we weren't available last week.
Yeah, since we weren't available.
Sheldon, we will be back tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. EST for 3 hours before kickoff, and we're also available Tuesday, 6 p.m. EST every week to go over waiver options before waivers kick in. So we're here 3 times a week for you every week throughout the fantasy season. So hopefully you can come back and chill. We'd love to have you and answer any of your questions you have weekly. Absolutely. Yep. And thank you, Silas. Damon Luce, last question here. ETN or Edmonds at the flex? I'm going ETN. I like Edmonds. I like Edmonds a lot, but I'm going ETN. If I'm going ETN over Kareem Hunt, I'm going ETN over Edmonds. Got to stay consistent here. I like ETN this week.
I said Kareem Hunt over ETN. Man. I need to sleep on this one, I think. I like Edmonds. The Ravens gave up a lot of targets to running backs last week. I think Edmonds has a pretty key role tomorrow. I do. I might have to sleep on this one, Damon. John says definitively ETN. I'm not as...
Who'd you draft earlier? It's only week 2.
Oh, yeah. But like also I drafted ETN with the thought process that James Robinson couldn't contribute week 1. And then he said, that's cool. Watch this. And completely flipped the script.
Fair.
Do I think he's going to get 2 touchdowns again? No. Do I think it's possible ETN was overdrafted? Maybe.
Fair enough. I'm still going ETN. Sticking with my guy.
Intrigued by Edmonds, man, with that pass catching upside, based especially with the Ravens giving up a lot of targets to the Jets running backs last week.
Well, that was again a lot of targets was because they passed 59 times. So again, perspective.
Yeah. Tua is not going to throw it 59 times.
You would think. That's not really Tua's MO. But you guys, thank you for everybody that was in here chilling with us today. Much appreciated. Going for about 2.5 hours now. So real fun to be back doing this after not being able to with you all last week. We are back here tomorrow, 10 a.m. EST. So as soon as you wake up in the morning, chances are we'll be live and you can come through, ask questions before kickoff. So much appreciated to y'all for your engagement today, and we will see you tomorrow.
Yep.
But have a good rest of your night, and happy
good
football,
night.
y'all.
You already know. Thanks, everybody.